It's time. This is my 7th live chat, and I've started every one of them like stressing and saying something negative about how I don't want to be here. But obviously, I'm happy finally that there's an arrest. So that's what we're here to talk about. I'm stressing already. All right. Hi, everybody. I've seen some familiar names. Hi, everybody. I'll try not to look at the total viewer count for a while. I'm using StreamYard, which has seems like a 30-second delay from YouTube. So FYI. Also, I created a 30-second delay in slow mode because people previously said the comments went by too fast. Hi, Sister Sarah. Why do people stay up so late in Europe? Hi, Jane. Oh, Chemtralia is here, one of my favorite usernames. Uh-oh, it's going by fast already. Hi, Ira. Thank you for the encouragement. Bossy Purdue, Custard, Patricia, Eric, Kimmy, Lori. It's already going by fast. Hi, John. Tracy, Rob. Thank you for the nice comments. Oh, yeah. So new people. All right. I'm already stressing that I'm missing comments. So hi to new people. FYI, I'm not normal. Sometimes I go to Reddit to, find some news, and people on Reddit say I'm neurodivergent. I have Asperger's, autism, and somebody recently just said I have schizoid personality, which I actually Googled that, and I do have a lot of those characteristics. So thanks for that. Anyway, I also have a sense of humor. My mom was voted class clown and class wit. So I don't think there's anything funny about these murders or anybody else that got murdered, but you'll see occasionally I'll make a joke about something. All right, back to comments. We'll get started in a minute. I do try to keep on topic as much as possible. This is obviously about the Delphi murders, the jerk who just got arrested. I try not to curse in case somebody has kids around or they don't like cursing. Let's see. Oh, we have to. So just a few things here. I try to remember to highlight comments, and some people say they prefer to not look at me and water their plants or clean around the house while listening back. So I do try to read back whatever comment I'm highlighting or responding to. Can't wait. Hi, Paper Chaser. Can't wait to hear your take on today's event. We'll see about that. I mean, I don't know what we have to talk about. So there will be a lot of talking about rumors. I don't like to talk about anything other than facts, but at this point, who knows what we can talk about. Hi, Ruth Ann. Oh, wait, I should highlight. Oh, I missed it already. Oh, here you go. I'm your new best friend. Hello. You do you, boo. You're amazing. Oh, let me try this. Pushing down on the keyboard, does that go to the next comment? No, it does not. All right. All right, I'll start in a second. Hi, Mrs. Thang. Oh, yeah. So how I do these is I just go through the comments pretty much from the top, and I try to answer a variety of comments and questions. And in September, I got like 2 hours behind the comments. So if I don't highlight your comment or acknowledge you, it's not because I think you're an idiot, although that might be possible. But I just do not see a lot of these comments, unfortunately, and it really stresses me out. So, oh yeah. So my last live was October 6th. And I was headed to Hawaii to help my uncle and teach him how to use an iPhone because he has a lot of disabilities and stuff. And for people who want an update on that, he threw his phone on the floor after 5 seconds. I ended up getting an eye infection or viral conjunctivitis. This is the one it's in. It's smaller than the other one right now. It's been a horrible 3 weeks. I could barely see. So I'm a little bit better today. So Hawaii was ridiculous. Anyway, before we get started, I'm sure some of you heard about this memorial park for Abby and Libby. They play softball there, and there's some other stuff. So I had heard about it, and that people were, I guess they were selling maybe a brick or something, but I never really looked into it. And I finally donated about 2 weeks ago. I just got my 3 letters here today for my 3 donations from the Community Foundation of Carroll County. So I know most of you probably did not see my recent chat with the murder sheet, but before that started, I said to them, I want to have something positive come out of this conversation since I'm so negative. And so I looked into donating to the Libby and Abby Park Foundation. And also I found out that there's 2 scholarships. One is the Abigail Williams Scholarship Fund, and the other is the Liberty German Scholarship Fund. So I just did a snippet of my murder sheet intro. So I just want to play that. It's a minute and a half just to encourage people to donate. If you've been following this case for a long time, it might be nice for you to try and do something positive. So this is like a minute and 30 seconds. Oh, how do I do this? Yeah, I'm not too familiar. Okay. Present. Share screen. Window. Here we go. Oh God, there I am. Wait, how do I get off of here? I hate being on camera. Where am I? All right, here we go. How do I do this? I did say that I wanted to start off by mentioning the Delphi donation funds where people can donate, because I don't think a lot of people know about that. I had heard about the Memorial Park, and I've been meaning to donate for a long time, and I finally just did last week. For people who are nosy, I gave $200 to the Memorial Park, and there's a scholarship fund for each girl. So I gave $100 to Abby and $100 to Libby's scholarship fund, and it's $10 minimum for people who are wondering. So if people want to donate, they can go to Abby and Libby memorialpark.org. And at the top, it has a link to donate via PayPal. You do not need to have a PayPal account. You can just enter your credit card information. Also on Abby and Libby memorialpark.org, at the top, it says more. You can click how you can help. They have some t-shirts for sale. Lastly, the Community Foundation of Carroll County is at cfcarroll.org. And at the top left, there's a menu where you hover your mouse over giving, and you can scroll down and click give now. You enter the donation form information. About halfway down, it says gift information, and there's a field for county, and you have to scroll to CF Carroll-list fund name below, and you have to type one of the following 3 funds below. One is Abigail Williams Scholarship Fund, or you can do Liberty German Scholarship Fund, or the third one is the L&A Park Foundation Fund. You just have to make sure you look, because it says monthly, annually, or one-time donation, so make sure you read each option. You click submit, and it'll show a page saying thank you for your donation. And I appreciate anybody who also donates. Thank you. And I'm back. Yeah, so I already missed one person. Thank you so much for anybody who donates to me, but really, I would really appreciate if, like I said, the minimum donation is $10. If 40 people watching this can match my $400 total, that would be nice to have something good come out of this. I think those are all good funds, the park, and obviously 2 scholarship funds. I already want to get off camera. So I do have another video that I prepared that's 7 minutes that has some updates. So on Friday, obviously this arrest was announced, and some people, I said I'll do a live chat Monday, and some people who have known that I've watched or looked into this case said I can't wait until then. So I decided to do a voice comparison with Bridge Guy and Rick. I'm going to call him Richard Allen. So I put together a quick, like 7-minute video just for like my subscribers who know like me and my crazy sense of humor. And it got like 50,000 views in one day. And people were like, who the hell is this guy? So I made a quick video last night with some updates since that Friday video. And then this morning, or just right now, right before this, I added something else. So I'm going to play that. It's about 7.5 minutes. And it has some decent information. Hold on. And stuff that you probably have not seen. I did a little, you'll see what I did. Stay tuned. All right, where am I going here? Window, YouTube final. What's going on? Share. All right, here we go. I'll be back in like 7 minutes. On Friday, when the news broke that this guy, Rick Allen, was arrested and possibly linked to the Delphi murders, Some viewers who knew that I had previously covered this case asked me to do a quick video. So I made a 7-minute video with some comparisons of his face, body, and voice. Right now, I'm just going to review some things that I've found since then. This apparently is a state-issued ID. I'm not sure if it's related to him working at CVS drugstore. This is apparently him in his high school senior portrait. I just want to preface this by saying these are unconfirmed, but apparently some of his former coworkers have been going on Facebook and Reddit and stating what their interactions with him were. This person said that Rick was a shift manager back at Walmart in Lafayette, Indiana, which is about 25 minutes from Delphi, in the 2009 to 2012-ish era. He was known as Rick. He was a nice guy, but then he got kind of douchey at the end. He would make sexual comments to the women and then acted generally creepy. He got transferred to a new store in Illinois, and I never saw him again. This person worked with Rick at the CVS in Delphi for 8 months from July 2020 to April 2021. His job title was Shift Supervisor RX. He did have his pharmacist license, but was only really a backup technician if needed. He was mostly either the shift leader or a shift support when he worked. Rick was the first and unfortunately the most polite and cooperative person to work with. He did a great job hiding in plain sight. The only story I ever heard about Rick's past was that he was a recovering alcoholic, went to an institution sometime prior to me working there, and had worked at Walmart for a few years. He never pinged under anyone's radar because he was literally one of the nicest and joking people working there. He didn't seem paranoid. It's also been mentioned that there was a sketch of the killer at the CVS where he worked. People are wondering how this arrest unfolded. Again, this text message I'm going to show is unconfirmed. I mean, I don't know that we can really trust anybody who has 61 unopened text messages. So apparently this person may have asked a law enforcement friend, hey, look into what happened on blank road in Delphi last night, which is the address where Rick lived, which I blurred out. Couple houses from friend. There was a dozen or so unmarked cars, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., digging in backyard. Got anyone you can ask? Delphi. Up here, you can see the date is Saturday, October 15th. So this digging would have happened Friday, October 14th, which was 2 weeks before his arrest was announced. The person said they have not found out anything yet. And the person continued, I asked my friend who is a state cop and works that area, and he looked at me like I was stupid and acted like nothing is going on. I still have a feeling it's connected, and the person who told me they dug the yard up lives 2 doors down. So I don't think she's assuming because she watched them do it. And she said it was a bunch of unmarked police cars, detectives, and digging all day long. I recorded most of this video last night, and then this morning, obviously, they had the press conference, and I'm adding this news story, which gives some more clarification about the search of his house.
That's right, Cheyenne. So I did speak with some neighbors of Richard Allen who watched on Thursday, October 13th, as investigators searched his house. They saw the investigators arrive just before noon and asked Richard and his wife to exit their home and remain outside, where they did remain outside for the entire day. The entire process took about 12 hours. We have exclusively obtained 4 images showing that search. In the first image, it is a bit from a distance. You see 2 men standing. One has his back to the camera, the other is side to the camera, and just over the man with his back to the camera, just over his right side, you can see the shoulder and head of Richard Allen, who is standing outside of his wife's vehicle. The neighbors tell me that his wife sat in the vehicle for several hours. He stood outside of it. At some point, he did get in the vehicle with her. The second image shows him sitting in the front passenger seat of that vehicle. My understanding is that for several hours, while they kept Richard and his wife outside of their home and in the driveway of their small neighborhood, that investigators also remained outside. And as it approached nightfall, the neighbors tell me that they saw Carroll County Sheriff's Deputy, Chief Deputy Tony Liggett, who they know, who is a member of the task force and was on the stage here today. He arrived with a piece of paper. He took that paper over to Richard Allen and showed it to him. And it was after that that a tow truck arrived and began towing his vehicle, and the officers went into the house. One of the neighbors watched with binoculars as he says investigators came out of the house with several items. They had 2 large bundles of what he described as dark-colored cloth, perhaps it was clothing, and he said it was getting dark at that point. He couldn't identify it for sure as clothing, but 2 bundles of some sort of dark cloth. They also took out a Macy's shopping bag and a shoebox. The neighbors also watched as 2 areas near Richard Allen's shed in his backyard were searched. They were described to me as being rather small areas. One, in fact, being so small that they thought perhaps only something like a bottle cap could have come out of that hole. That area is still undisturbed. Nobody has been at Richard Allen's home since Wednesday of last week, when it is my understanding that he was taken into custody and in court and charged on Friday. So these are images from October 13th from the neighbors. They described him, they tell me they've lived a few houses down from him for several years. They said there was really nothing special about him. He was very quiet. He and his wife had lived there for a long time, and they didn't have many visitors over. They didn't have parties or anything like that. And they were very quiet neighbors. They would see Richard when he'd come home from work, and he would sit out in his driveway and sit in a lawn chair and have a few beers and a few cigarettes. But they said there was never any trouble from their neighbors. They had no idea when the search happened, what was going on. And then on Friday, as the news started to break that there had been a major development in this case, they called a family member of Liberty German that they know, and she indicated that their neighbor might in fact be connected to this case.
Google Earth has a feature where you can look back a few years. So this is September 2014. This is April 2017, 2 months after the murders. It does not look like there's any dirt. I mean, obviously there's green grass growing. There's something here near the back of the house, but it's not that big. And it seems highly unlikely that he would bury something from the murders that close to the back door. I know there's a patch back here, but there's another house to the right that I cropped out and also down to the bottom. So I'm not sure exactly where his property line ends. This is July 2018. Not much has changed. This same dark spot is still near the back door. And here is one car. Some people online said sometimes he would walk to work and possibly share a car with his wife. Again, that's just a rumor. And the last one is July 2022, 3 months ago. Again, really not much has changed.
I almost just shut that down, the entire chat. Hold on. What am I doing here? Remove. All right, I'm back, unfortunately. Yeah, so what are we going to talk about? I do have a PowerPoint. Oh my God, I'm so ridiculous. It's just easier to show stuff in a PowerPoint. So I have some questions. Let me just put out my questions real quick. Hold on. They're not that great. Oh, what's going on here? What's going on? All right, so these are just some questions that I had. Will he do a plea deal to avoid the death penalty? So I wrote this last night. Trial may be years away, but then today they said, I guess his next court appearance is in January, and they're scheduling his trial for March of 2023. I know that there was another Indiana case that was pretty famous. Amanda Blackburn, her husband Davey was a pastor, and 3 young guys had been on a crime spree in the area, and they killed her. And I think the last guy, the one who shot her, he finally just got sentenced and had the end of his trial about a month ago. So it was like, I think it was 7 years ago. So anybody who's thinking this might be done by April, I don't know, we may have to think again. So in one legal document, it said that this guy, Rick, like I said, I'm going to call him, he had an alias. I don't know why they would have put this in, but it's a very interesting name, Craig Ross Renfro. I know Tom, and I have not seen him here. He said he did some research on him. I have not really looked into this and who this guy is, but he seems to be a real guy, and people obviously are stalking his Facebook and trying to find out why Rick would have used this guy's name. So I was looking back last night a little bit at my first video timeline, and it seems like there were 4 people who said they saw Bridge Guy, and apparently, I guess maybe arguing couple guy or possibly flannel shirt guy for people who know these pseudonyms that are used. he was apparently heading back to maybe Freedom Bridge or the CPS building at 3:15. But if Rick lives in the opposite direction, why is he going towards CPS? Did he drive and park over there? He only lived like a mile and a half from the bridge. I don't know. Obviously, there's a ton of questions, and I'm sure that some of these we'll never get an answer to. Why didn't any of the witnesses recognize him at CVS? So I wrote that he may not have started until after the murders. And then today, there had been a rumor that the German family, maybe Libby's aunt, had gone to CVS to process some photos, possibly for their memorial. I don't know if it was days after the murder. And the rumor was that Rick waited on Libby's aunt, and when the photos were ready for the memorial, he said no charge. And today, Becky Patty did confirm that, but she did not confirm exactly when that was. So was he working at CVS in February 2017? And how did these four witnesses, I mean, obviously it's not sure that all four of them went to the CVS, but I don't know, it just seems odd to me that nobody ever matched up this guy. But apparently he was questioned and released. I don't know when or whatever. So another question is, obviously for the past, 10 months, people have been wondering if Kagan has been involved in this and his dad. So are they still involved or are they not involved at all? And those are my questions. So let me go to your questions and comments. Lynn says this has to all be connected to the CSAM. I don't know. I mean, because from Kagan's August 2020 police interview, the police were saying, we know that there were two people on the morning of the murders accessing these accounts. And like I said in my video, my 4.5-hour video on the Kleins and Ron Logan, which at the end I was like, if they do not have anything to do with this, we just wasted like a lot of brain cells on the Kleins. So the police seem to be saying that Tony was the second person because, like I also said in my video, somebody needs to put out an Amber Alert for Tony's missing punctuation because homeboy does not know how to use a period or a comma. So how would Rick be involved with this if the police seem to be saying that it was Kagan and his dad, especially his dad, because the murder sheet had been saying that they were hearing that Tony Klein has been the focus of the investigation. The murder sheet never said that they thought Tony was the killer. So I don't know. I'm confused, but that's nothing new. 6 years of discovery from multiple agencies won't be processed by a defense attorney by March. Yeah, right. And then today, I've been saying a few times that there were 80,000 tips. Today, Doug Carter said about 70,000. And there's one other thing I wanted to clarify. In my video on Friday, I said that Rick's bond was $20 million. I said that because somebody, when I posted that I was doing a live chat, they said their spouse had access to Indiana State court records. And they told me that Rick's birth date was September 9th, 72. And also that the bond was 20 million. So they were right about the birth date, and other people have been talking about it. I don't like to give out false information, but I just wanted to clarify that he has no bond. Let's see. January is just whether to unseal affidavits will happen. March date will get pushed as soon as Rick lawyers up, and the defense will say they need more time with discovery. Yeah, I mean, this can go on for a long time, I'd imagine. I hope you enjoyed PowerPoint time. Let's see. Hi, Dave. If the story of law enforcement going to his house on the burglary charge is real, in my opinion, they probably saw a specific type of cat that matched the DNA. Animal hair forensics knew the cat species. Well, apparently some people said he had a prior cat, or they had a few pets. From the Ron Logan affidavit, we know that it said that there were unknown hairs and fibers, and people speculated that it was Tony Klein's dog, which that dog was taken out of Tony Klein's house, apparently to check against the murder scene, or just to check. I don't want to say for the murder scene. And Kagan did confirm that Cujo, the pit bull's hair, was taken. But Kagan did also say a lot of other stuff, which I can't figure out why in August of this year, Kagan was telling people that he and his dad went to Delphi in the red Jeep the day of the murders, and he said that his dad wore his jeans and jacket. That's something that hasn't been released. It's just something that somebody sent me, which I don't want to get into, but I believe that Kagan said that. But if you watch my video too, I said Kagan lies more than Pinocchio, so I gave him the nickname Kagokio. But somebody got really upset with me yesterday that I was like fat shaming people when I said instead of Kagan's nose growing, his body gets bigger every time he lies. Sorry, don't mean to offend anybody, but like Kagan doesn't deserve any sympathy. Keep it moving. Oh, that's not necessary, but thank you. You know I don't like subscriptions or notification bells. Hi, the simulation. I wonder why the FBI wasn't at the press conference today. Well, somebody, just going back to the CSAM, somebody said that Detective Vito, who did that August 2020 interview about the CSAM, he was thanked by Doug Carter today. So people were wondering, is this somehow related to CSAM? And was Rick possibly, like I said, involved with, it doesn't seem possible to me that really like Rick was also accessing the Anthony Shots account, like remotely, I don't know, from his house, like I'm saying his house or something. Especially after what I just said about police thought it was both devices were in the Peru house the morning of the murders, talking to Libby. So yeah, I just, unfortunately, I don't speak when I'm looking through these comments to see what to highlight. So bear with me, please. Hi, Sue. Aren't you up late? I know you live in Europe. I think he had an ATV he used to get to the bridge. I don't know. I think people might have recognized that. Like I said, the jet ski thing, people who know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. They will never offer Dick a plea deal. That is a pretty good name to call him. He is a huge one. Well, would they say, we're going to charge you with a death penalty and then hope he says, okay, I'll tell you everything if you just spare me? I don't know. I don't have a lot of experience with the courts. I get away with my crimes. No, I'm kidding. I don't commit crimes. I told you I'm going to say inappropriate things. Hi, Bren. He may have driven to make a quick exit. Yeah, but it's not a quick exit because Ron Logan's property is, I don't want to say it's closer to Rick's house than CPS building, but he would have to, it's like a 15-minute walk, I think, from the murder site to Freedom Bridge and CPS. So I don't know, who knows why he went there that day. It still hasn't been confirmed that he is bridge guy, but I mean, obviously he was charged with double murder and you got to assume he is bridge guy. But like I've said so many times since my first video, I'm trying not to look at the number of viewers. That guy on the bridge had so much stuff in his jacket. He was there to do something whack. Oh, while I'm thinking of this, somebody else, I mean, there's, like I said, there's a lot of rumors and there's just not a lot of facts out there yet about Rick and the evidence. So a rumor is the police, I don't know, I just saw this earlier. The police, I guess, went to interview him, not this like 12-hour search of his property. They interviewed him and left. Apparently he used his burn pit the following day, and possibly then the police came back and searched that burn pit and maybe found evidence. I don't know. You have to think that they have something extremely concrete after 5.5 years to finally charge somebody. I mean, obviously we're going to find out eventually. And some people were mad that the press conference didn't reveal details, but we just want this to be over and the person to pay for it so we can wait a few more months to find details. Hi, Mr. Hayden. It was for photos to display at her funeral. So, I mean, I guess he did work at CVS in 2017 in February when the murders happened. What was I going to think? Oh, yeah. But people were saying that his pharmacist certificate, he's not really a pharmacist. People said he was like a shift supervisor and he just had to do backup. That's why he had that certificate. And he got that, I guess, October 2017 or 2018. So people were not sure if he was working at CVS at the time of the murders, but it looks like he may have. Hi, Lori. Thanks for joining. I bet there will be more arrests. Well, who? People are obviously saying, oh, his wife had to know. Is she going to get charged with something? I don't know. I feel horrible for his family, like obviously his daughter, his wife. At some point, people said he had 2 kids. I only saw a picture of his daughter, so I'm not sure if he has a second child. Bonnie says he became pharmacy tech in 2018. Running on empty. Thank you for being a mod. Very chilling. He lived so close to Abby. I mean, yeah, and Libby does not live that far north of the cemetery. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I obviously speculated about a lot of things in my first video, and this whole time that I've been trying to figure things out, which I'll bring this up now. Like, I've spent 1,000 hours on this since the 4-year anniversary when I started looking into it, and I got nothing. I got nothing right. I'll say that. Like I said a few weeks ago, I'm not sure about anything other than Ron Logan was not the guy on the bridge. But it seems so crazy to me that thousands of people have spent probably like a few million hours combined since 2017 trying to figure this out. And no shade, but like nobody figured it out until obviously like last week. It's so crazy to me. And people ask me like, what's your next case? And it's like, I'm not going to solve anything. A case of Twinkies. Hi, Melissa. Did I see that he was questioned and cleared early on? A news station released it. HLN is supposed to give more details tonight. All right, go watch HLN. Stop watching me. Also, it said he smokes ciggies. I did see that he was questioned, not necessarily early on, but at some point, and obviously he was not charged. But I mean, the 5'4" thing to me is kind of crazy that, I mean, I said in my first video, I think that why could police not go on the bridge to determine a very accurate height? Yes, I did just burp. Oh my God. I'm so embarrassing. Give me a break. I hate doing these things. Anyway, oh my God. Let me have a drink. I'm blushing. Last live chat ever. What was I even talking about? Oh yeah. So he's 5'4", although I guess that was in his booking information. I'm not looking at, I'm way behind. I'm 15 minutes behind comments. So he's 5'4". Why? I don't know if police did do some kind of analysis. I know people said maybe Matt Sullivan's YouTube channel did a height comparison, but I think somebody said it was 5'8" or 5'10". And quite a few people noticed a few months ago, the FBI, I'm still laughing about my burp. The FBI took off the height off their poster, which previously, I don't know, there's so much information in this case. I can't keep track of it. I don't know. Was it 5'6" to 5'10" or 5'8" to 6 foot? I don't know, but they took off the information a few months ago. So you got to wonder, did they somehow know about him a few months ago and did not want him to get arrested and show that on the wanted poster? Sorry, my eyes tearing from my eye infection. Hi, Ira. Thanks for joining. It was for their funeral, and yes, that was confirmed by the family today. Hi, Witch. Today's your day. There's a former coworker of his talking on Reddit about RA's time as, yeah, at the beginning of this video, I did a 7-minute video where I showed some of the screen captures about at least part of what that former coworker said. Hi, Providence. Thank you for joining, and thanks for all your nice comments that you leave me. Oops, I just highlighted something, but it went away. Hi, Mike. It was said that after the presser today, that Kagan rolled on Rick. He is supposedly the second administrator of Anthony Shots. Very trusted source told me this. Well, like I was saying, was Rick over at Kagan's house at the morning of the murders, and that's because there were 2 devices. I mean, I just went through that before. And if you know the interview, that 194-page interview that Kagan gave, you know what the police said. I don't know. We'll see. Joe Newman said, "What is C-SPAM?" So it's not a meat product. CSAM is short for child sexual abuse material or media, because I'm not going to even say it out loud, but CP is child adult movie. That's been the term that people have used for a long time, which, I mean, it's a horrible thing that's been going on for so long. But it's kind of inappropriate to act like the kids were consenting to this. So they came up with this newer thing that's not using the P word. So that's what that is. So it's CSAM, CSAM. Billy thinks Kagan blabbed, but yeah, it's like, so it was mentioned that Rick may have lived in Peru. Obviously, Kagan and Tony have lived in Peru for quite a while. Tony is now 54. Rick is 50. So, I mean, I know Rick apparently had a drinking problem, so I'm sure he's at the local bar in Peru. Wasn't Kagan was named after Kagan? I always get this wrong. There's a bar or a strip club in, no, it was Logansport, which is near Peru in the Delphi. And I guess it's called Kagan Stone or Kagan Stein. And people say that Tony named his son after that strip club or bar. Kelly the vegan, he worked at CVS at the time of the murders, but was not a licensed pharmacy tech until 2018. All right, thank you. Do you have voice comparison? Yeah, on Friday, I did a 7-minute video where towards the end I did it, but honestly, right now it's too difficult for me to navigate to it on my computer. Is it? Maybe it's not. Hold on. What is this? Oh, yeah. All right. I want to be off camera, so I got to do some burps. No, I'm kidding. Let me do the end of this since somebody asked about the voice comparison. I'm just going to play this part of the 7-minute video. Where'd it go? Oh my God, that's the wrong one. Sorry. Like I said, I hardly ever do these live chats. Thank God. What is this? All right, here we go. So I'm going to play the voice comparison. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it. Oh, I have to find out where it is, actually. All right, I'll take you along with me to find it. Let's see. That's not it. This? No. Here? Okay, here it is.
With this,
I'll play this part too.
this reveals anything.
I'm such an
I'm trying to
idiot.
make this comparison of his face compared to the bridge guy. Obviously, looking at the video, we have this one face on the left, which looks pretty crazy with like a big jean shallot mustache. Over here, it looks like a younger guy to me. Can I say that any of these really match up to this guy or this guy? No, I can't. Like I said before, here is this greenish hat that kind of matches up with this, but I don't think it's a perfect match. His wife posted on Facebook a video of them on a gondola or whatever this thing's called.
Idiot.
And Ricky Allen talks a little bit, so I tried to increase the volume on his voice and compare it to the killer. Shut up. And he's going down. If I'm being honest, it's not like a total match where I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely the guy. But obviously, like I've said before, if someone's trying to intimidate 2 teenage girls, the tone of his voice is going to be a lot different than if he's trying to get his wife to stop talking. And for people who did not see my first Delphi video where I did an audio analysis, in between guys and down the hill, I feel like there's a young girl's voice. And the word I hear is an agitated person saying Libby. So I guess maybe Abby at one point may have said Libby. So police have really not released any concrete details about this guy.
Shut up, Tom. Yeah, I made the Bad decision to look at how many viewers we have. Hi, 1,100 people. All right, yeah, so that was my voice comparison. It didn't totally stick out to me. Also, his face, the video is so blurry, it's hard to really tell anything. Jean Shallot mustache. I have a hard time believing Kagan is not involved. Way too coincidental. The river search, Kagan's pretrial, arrest. When is his trial? Oh yeah. No, it's not December. It's January. But he has I guess his last court appearance is a few days before Christmas. Let's see. I understand Rick got an OWI conviction in 2016. He may not have had a license in February. Oh, a driver's license. Okay. Yeah, good point. Let's see. Hi, Cassidy Jewel. I think you mean Kagan. I think Kagan has to be involved. Why else would he leave to Vegas right after? So Kagan said that their trip to Vegas had been planned well in advance. And it did seem like Tony had gone to Vegas and likes car shows. So they were there February 21st to the 25th, which also makes you wonder, like, what about that ski mask incident? I don't know. I'll have to do another. I hate these things. Yeah, but Kagan said that when he went to Vegas, or before that, he packed another bag. Apparently, he told law enforcement this in his February 25th, 2017 interview. He said he packed another bag because he was effed, and that his plan was he was going to leave in the middle of the night. I guess the insinuation was because he knew his dad committed the murders, but if not, was it because he knew he was going to get in trouble for the CSAM? I don't know. But he was searching for this case. I don't know. There's so many things that could go either way with the Kleins being involved in the murders or not. Yeah, a lot of good points. Hopefully we'll have some answers. I don't know, might be a few more months. Kel, does anybody know if Abby and Libby's mom were at press conference? I do not know. I only saw Mike, Patty, and Becky, but I have not looked at a lot of coverage. Pickles. Now I want to eat pickles. If you look at any pic of dudes from Indiana, they literally all look like BG. It's a Midwest thing, like red trucks and cornfields. So people have been saying this on my videos for a long time when I was trying to figure out the clothes of the guy on the bridge. So when I did my 4.5-hour video on the Kleins, if you watch that long video, you know that I said that looking at Tony Klein's Facebook, I looked and saw that he shops at NASCAR T-shirts R Us, and he's a fashion icon. So Tony Klein wears sneakers, shorts, and sweats, or these shirts or jackets that almost all have writing on them. So no, Tony Klein does not dress like everybody else in Indiana. I'm not like, don't be mad, Pickles. But I'm just saying Tony Klein stood out, which is one of the reasons why I said at the end of my video, could I say, so for people who have not seen my 2 Delphi videos, when I was looking into the first time I looked into it, I looked at suspects and I started a list of reasons for this person being the killer or the guy on the bridge and reasons against. And then at the bottom, I would say, if I was on a jury, could I say that this person is guilty or innocent? And honestly, everybody I've looked at, I could not say that they were guilty. And for the Kleins, I could not match up their voice or their clothing choices to the guy on the bridge. So I don't know where I was going with that, but so yeah, I did not think it was Tony or Kagan on the bridge. Whether they're involved some other way, I obviously don't know. Mr. Hayden, I'm avoiding saying his first name. No offense. What was found in the river search? I would love to know that. Yeah, I mean, Well, when Murder Sheet was on my October 6th live chat, I forget what they said. Nothing substantial. I forget, but I guess people were obviously hoping that there would be a knife that they found that would have either the killer's DNA or the girls, assuming that Kagan said, okay, I'm going to do a deal. I'll start telling the truth. When we came back from the murders, we threw out a knife over the bridge on the Peru River, like very close to Tony Klein's house. And people were hoping that would be found. And Tony, I mean, people were expecting Tony to be arrested, not this other guy. So, yeah, I guess we'll find out soon if the Kleins are involved with Delphi or at least the murders, or what had Kagan told the police. Because if you remember, they were out there for 5 weeks. Hi, Tanya. Someone who knew Ricky, knew Kagan, and made them reconsider it. The police officers about Ricky's involvement. Any thoughts on what brought Ricky into the police's sight? I have no clue. I mean, I've seen rumors that his parents turned him in, that his wife turned him in, mitochondrial DNA. I mean, people have been saying for so long, how good is the DNA sample? And I think the general consensus was that the DNA sample was not that great. So I know people have been talking about Parabon Labs, and why can't they do genealogy like they did with Golden State Killer? You would think if they could do that, they would have done it years ago. I'm pretty sure the woman, I'm not too familiar with Parabon Labs and all that stuff, but I'm pretty sure she offered a few years ago. And from what I remember, she was told that it wasn't a possibility. So as far as DNA from the crime scene, somehow using genealogy, I don't know. Let's see. Hi, Lynette. The clock is now ticking for prosecutors. Most defense attorneys will push for a speedy trial to put pressure on DA at first. Then they pull back. This will be years. Yeah, saying we can't expect this to be done in April. Hi, Fig Solves. Yeah, I'm so happy that this day has come. When I did my October 6th live chat, I was like, yeah, my next live chat will be when there's an arrest or something. And I wasn't expecting to be on a live chat tonight. But I'm happy to be here because I'm so glad this is looking like it's finally going to be resolved. But it's not resolved unless it's a guilty verdict for the right person. So it could have been law enforcement coming across him due to unrelated issue. Yeah, there was a rumor that he stole something from a neighbor. Police went to look on his property and they found stuff related to Delphi. I mean, there's always been this rumor about souvenirs taken from the crime scene. Libby obviously had a shoe that was on one side of on the south side of the Deer Creek. There's been rumors, I mean, not necessarily rumors, but in the Ron Logan legal document, it said there were 2 pieces of clothing missing. Everybody assumed it was from Libby. She was wearing sweatpants and a sweatshirt and her tie-dye shirt underneath. Some people said it was a sock and underwear. So people wondered, did the killer take her sock and underwear? It's been mentioned that something may have been floating in the creek. So it's not for sure that there were clothing missing from the crime scene. There's been another rumor that the killer took hair from both of the girls. I don't know. Ruth Ann said, I heard that the alias, I guess that Craig Renfro, was a user on the Anthony Shots account. Yeah, I'm not sure about some of these rumors. Yeah, Doug Carter said they're going to have to go back through all 70,000 tips to see what could apply to, I guess, Rick. Many players to be looked into. Daisy said, not going to lie, I don't think Kagan's dad is involved with this. Yeah, like I said, I don't know when I said it, but like at what point would Tony's dad start chatting with Libby and end up at the bridge, and I don't know. Obviously, he has a history of assaulting young girls and stuff like that, and family members. Trish says, were the girls lured there by the shots account? I mean, there's been speculation that Kagan said, I was supposed to meet her, but she did not show up. It was never specified which day or where that reference was to. And that was after the night of the murders when Anthony Schatz was chatting with Libby's friend. And the friend said to Anthony Schatz, which is Kagan, oh my God, did you hear what happened to Libby? Oh no, she said, did you hear what happened to Libby? He replied, oh my God, what? I don't know. I forget exactly what he said. But then he said, I was supposed to meet her and she did not show up. But then also, sorry, different things keep popping into my head. There's so much information. Murder Sheet said a few months ago, which let me just say this about Murder Sheet. I previously said my problem with them was I was afraid that them releasing stuff would prevent an arrest or cause like a problem with the police. Obviously, an arrest was made, so anything the Murder Sheet has released did not prevent justice or an arrest. So I now have no problems with Murder Sheet. I'm sure they're thrilled to hear that. What was I talking about? Okay, so Murder Sheet said 2 months ago, Kagan searched Marathon gas station in Delphi on the day of the murders. So for people who are saying Kagan has something to do with this, yeah, it's, I don't know. Why is he searching that on the day they were murdered? Let's see. Hola, chicos. The police never named Tony publicly. Correct, but they did name him privately. Did you read Kagan's 194-page interview? Because the police multiple times seem to be referring to Kagan's dad as accessing these Anthony Schatz devices and maybe some various other profiles. One was called Emily Ann. And in various chats, it's saying, obviously it was believed that Kagan was the one doing these CSAM chats, trying to get pictures of these 12, 13-year-old girls, like naked. And some of these chats were saying, I don't remember what exactly they're saying, but just like, what would you think about hooking up with a guy in his 40s? People have noted that the age that was referenced, like 43, did not match up with Tony's exact age at that time. But there were quite a few of these CSAM chats where it would be like, would you hook up with my dad? Whatever. And at least one point, apparently Anthony Schatz did send a photo of a dad to one of these girls. What that photo was or who it was, who knows? It was probably George Clooney, knowing Kagan. Yeah, so I'm 30 minutes behind on comments, just FYI. Hopefully I explained CSAM to you properly. Which him at the bar, so Rick at that bar with the sketch behind him is crazy. You think that's crazy? They had a sketch. They had a wanted poster at CVS where he worked the register, and it had the picture from Libby's phone. If that's him on the bridge, which it obviously seems like it is. I mean, obviously, I have no words to say how crazy that is. Hi, Marcus. What's the possibility? This is one of those CP or CSAM share rings, and Richard Allen may have said something to someone involved in the ring. This is why Klein has sealed documents too. Well, the police in Kagan's interview said his Dropbox led to one of the biggest CSAM. Did they say rings? CSAM investigations in Indiana history. So I don't know. I guess time will tell, and hopefully Kagan's trial will tell some of these details that we're hoping to find out. Melissa, I wish people would stop saying Kagan squealed or blabbed. How about he finally decided to help? He's saving his own ass, girl. Anyway. Sylvia Brown, I hope you don't make predictions like the one who used to be on Montel Williams. See, I told you I say inappropriate things. Duty Ron, YouTube, was talking you up big time. Yes, he sent me a message to see if I could, or if he could use my 7-minute video, and he was nice, and I saw some people say nice things about me over there, so thank you. What? Lizbeth, short guys don't commit violent crimes? Question mark. I just want to make sure to know that she said question mark. I don't know what I missed if you're talking to somebody else. Sean says Rick may have been using the Craig Renfro alias to surf the Anthony Schatz profile. So wife Lilith is somewhat, oops, did you see that face I just made? Wife Lilith, honestly, you don't have a great reputation like me. Anyway, I'm kidding. So wife Lilith is apparently somebody who started chatting with Kagan while he was incarcerated, which he still is and is going to be for a while. And I guess you know that he said that he's planning to move in with you when he gets out, which who knows when that'll be. So she's been defending Kagan a lot in online chats, and I guess she has a YouTube channel, which I haven't checked out. No offense. See, this is why I hate doing live chats. How many people? Almost 1,300. Oh my God. So wife Lilith has been defending Kagan, saying that he is not involved. So I do have to at least acknowledge that somebody else has been arrested. So your comment is maybe you all should have listened to me when I said Kelly lied. Well, wife Lilith, I have seen, let's just say, evidence that he has told other people that he and his dad went to Delphi the day of the murders in the red Jeep, and other things where he's basically blaming his dad for the murders. So I was going to say put that in your crack pipe and smoke it, but that's not what I'm saying to you. No, but I do have to acknowledge, like, somebody else was arrested for the murders. It was not Kagan, and it's not been Tony since then. So I do acknowledge that. I'm acknowledging something. I don't know what it is. Hopefully you're not mad at me. Let's see. So wife Lilith, have you asked Kagan if he knew Rick? Like I said, I'm like a half hour behind on comments, and I'm sure there's some crazy ones replying to what I just did, but hi, wishful thinking. Moving on. Can Tony be an acquaintance school chum of Rick? No. Did I? Oh yeah, I showed Rick's high school photo. He went to North Miami or something, and Tony, I think, has been in Peru his entire time. There's a 4-year age difference. So like I said, there's been rumors that, sorry, my eyes watering from my infection. There's been rumors that, what have there been rumors about? Rick lived in Peru at one point, and like I said, people have been saying that it was fairly close, like a few blocks from the Kleins. And I thought I felt a burp coming on. This is so embarrassing. Anyway, so they may have known each other. Yes, I don't know. People were trying to see if they were related somehow, and somebody may have said they were. Some people said they were not. Oh my God. How did they not know he was a hobbit? Seriously? That's a Billy Wolf joke. What is the prosecutor's name? Somebody before said Don Johnson wannabe. That was, I think, Billy. I don't know. But I saw him like, well, I shouldn't say that. I saw him a few years ago, and I saw him today. I was like, wow, he got old, and he has dark circles under his eyes. Not that there's anything wrong with that. He's working hard. Yes, he's working hard, and he should be commended. But he has a big task ahead of him. Okay, here we go. I don't even know how to pronounce your name, but I guess you're from North Carolina. Maybe Kagan picked Rick up at Marathon. Rick walked there to meet him so his family wouldn't see him picked up by Jabba the Hutt. We're not supposed to make fun of people's weight. Yeah, I don't know. I showed where, in my 7-minute video from Friday, I showed where, this is hard to show on, I was going to do a map. So like up in the top left is CVS. You come down, here's Marathon gas station. You go down, so you're going down through like a side street of Delphi. Delphi isn't that big. So you go over this way. No, you go over this way. Rick's house is here. So let's like move this over more. So Rick's house is here. You go over this way on a map. I'm doing this backwards. And you go up here. Oh my God, this is horrible. Just watch my video where I showed it on the map. Actually, let me show it. No, should I show it? Yes, I'll show it. People, why do we do these things? All right, where am I going? I'm going to show you a map. If I can find it. Here we go. Present. Share screen. Window. Delphi murders, share. All right, here we go. So I know people get mad that my cursor isn't big enough. So on the top left here is CVS, where Rick, some people are saying he did work there February 2017. You come down here. I'm not totally sure if Marathon Gas is here or further down over here. Is this being blocked here? Yeah, so can you see that? Oh, crap. Sorry. Let me unhide this person's thing. There we go. Technical difficulty. So down here is Rick's house. You go right. This 25 here is the Hoosier Heartland Highway. And I cropped this. So if you're familiar with this case, you know if you keep going up 25, these yellow dots here on the right, top right, a little bit further up is the CPS building where police have been saying for years, we're looking for the driver of a vehicle, not the vehicle type or anything. They're looking for the driver of a vehicle at CPS that was parked there from noon to 5 the day of the murders. So just going back to how this matches up. So this is the bridge, Monon High Bridge. And further to the right here, this is the creek. The girls their bodies were found like where this gets cut off in the top right. So I forget what your question was. Oh, God. Sorry, I'm having technical difficulties and mental ones too. Let me stop this. Okay, so this was your question. Maybe Kagan picked Rick up at Marathon Gas. Rick walked there. Wait, so where would Kagan have dropped him off? Oh, Rick walked to Marathon Gas, so his family would not see him picked up. But then where did they go? I don't know. I mean, people, CPS. But like I said previously, if Kagan has admitted that he drives. He said this privately. It's not like publicly known. But he said he gets very anxious, so he prefers not to. So if he drove his dad's red Jeep the day of the murders and picked up Rick, and he just sat there. I don't know. What my point was, if police know that a red Jeep was there, why would they be asking for the driver if they know that it matches up with Kagan, or Tony Klein is the one who owns the red Jeep? And like I also said, on February 25th, when police went to raid the Klein's house, if they knew that it was a red Jeep at CPS and they go to this guy's house who was chatting with Libby and they see a red Jeep there, like, why would the FBI say the following day, we've cleared the people at this house, which that's a whole nother issue. But maybe, I don't know. I was going to say maybe they do not have anything to do with it, but obviously as of August 2020, in Kagan's CSAM interview, they brought up so much things about Delphi, so they seem to think that Tony was the murderer. The police, I'm saying, thought that. M. Knife Al-Shamalan, 80% Kagan Klein related, 20% Rick's wife knew. He was questioned in 2016. The murders happened in 2017, girl. But recently discovered something alarming that made her doubt him. There have been rumors, I'm just saying it's a rumor, that there's domestic violence, that maybe Rick was abusive to his wife. But if you saw like her videos on Facebook, which I know people kind of present the best of them, except when they're on live chats, I don't know. She seemed to be very in love with him. And I said in my video, he seems to ignore her a lot. and now she's ignoring him. But like, can you imagine them being outside for like 10 hours as the police were looking through their house? I don't know. Yeah, so it's like, would Rick have walked there or driven? And like, how did he even decide to go there that day? Jack says, I'm not convinced about the car left at the CPS building. I suspect Rick used the old railway line to walk back to the road, disposing of clothes and cleaning himself up before walking back. I mean, I don't know how much police looked around, like step by step around the bridge and stuff, looking for discarded evidence or not. All right, I'm now like 40 minutes behind. Let's see. I'm gonna scroll through a bunch. Mike says, in the presser today, a question was asked about Kagan, and Doug Carter said, that's still part of the investigation. Yeah, they're not really answering anything, but like I said, I understand. Hi, Jake. I read a verified doc reporting one of Kegokio's, not Kenokio's, Kagan's shared catfish accounts shared a female name of a confirmed female Richard Allen family member. I'm confused. Yeah, we'll have to come back to this one. Sorry, yeah, I'm not following that, and it's not your fault. I'm a nitwit. Oh yeah, somebody said this before. Let me say. Hi, South Beach. Yeah, I know you left this on my, I guess, Friday video. I see ATV goggles strapped below his chin in Libby's video. Well, people on the trail seem to say that he had a mask at some point up, I guess, over his mouth. I don't know if over his nose, but I don't know. I mean, on the video of him walking across, it looks like he has bangs. I mean, people have been talking about this for a long time. And obviously, Rick's seems to have always had a very close haircut. So, what was that thing covering most of his forehead? Don't say his cat. Oh my gosh. Um, People have said that there's a puppy. The bridge guy was carrying a puppy. Sorry, I don't think so. Venus Gal. What lawyer in that area would want to be known for defending the killer of these girls? Can't imagine. Well, there's always somebody looking to make a name for themselves. And they don't seem to have a ton of money. I mean, people said he paid cash for his house. And so they've been in that house since 2006. Somebody said he paid cash. I think it was like $160,000 for that house. I might be wrong, but it's something close to that. So I don't know if he's going to have a public defender. It's like, how much can he afford? Sorry, just looking through these comments. Chico said, I think they are done with the clients. They want tips on Richard Allen now. Yeah, I mean, he seems to be obviously the main focus, and they want to be prepared for March, but his trial I'm talking about. But you think they have enough evidence that they think they can get a conviction. So hopefully they have something very concrete. Oh, wait. Alicia says, everywhere I go, I take my 3 cats with me on my clothes. So yeah, so I thought you were going to say like you hide them in your jacket. Yeah, so people, like I said, the Ron Logan document seemed to insinuate that there were maybe animal hairs that were found. And Doug Carter recently said it's fascinating how this was finally solved. So you wonder, was there cat hair at the crime scene and they finally got access to Rick's dead cat that they maybe buried in their backyard and it somehow matched? Is Tony's dog Cujo dead now? As far as I know, I do not think so. Raven says January is pretrial hearing. They discuss charges and evidence and if they will offer a plea deal. All right, thank you. Turtle says, when all is said and done, I feel it will come out that this was not handled properly by authorities. Guy was literally on no one's radar, period. Well, I mean, I think every guy of a certain age was tipped in the Delphi area at some point. Having said that, police also had 18 to 40 on the wanted poster, and this guy was 44. So people wonder, why was he not a suspect? He was outside of the age range and he was outside of the height range. I guess that's all I have to say about that. I don't like to highlight compliments, but I don't like to ignore people. Lynn, thank you. She said, you have done an awesome job on your videos. Thank you. Yeah, well, like I said before, I spent 1,000 hours and I contributed nothing to getting solved. So did I really do anything worthwhile? Sometimes you got to try. Patricia says, Rick is connected through the Emily Ann account. What's your proof, Patricia? Now I want a peppermint patty. I haven't had a York peppermint patty in a while. I'll get one tomorrow in your honor. Hi, Lucky Owl. The murder investigation uncovered the CSAM ring that the clients were running. Yes, because Ski Mask Girl said I was talking to Anthony Schatz, and then somebody showed up the next day, and that's how they found Kagan. When they did a search of Comcast, said that the phone used for Anthony Schatz was the client's house. So in the investigation of the clients, law enforcement learned more about Alan. Someone broke an alibi in the past couple of weeks. Okay. No, I'm not smiling, saying that I'm like disagreeing with you. I can't help but smile sometimes. Tanya says, I feel 1,000% sure he acted alone. Uh-oh. Kagan uses 1,000% sure. Yeah, hopefully the truth will come out soon. Daisy says, even the nastiest people alive deserve due process. Take it from one, you can take it from anyone. Yes, that's true. Hopefully, like I said, they do have evidence that is irrefutable. Hi, John. Thank you very much. Does police keeping tips open imply more involved? I don't know. I think obviously they want to get as much information about Rick as possible. So why would they really close the tip line at this point? It's been a few days since he was announced as the killer. So I don't know that we should really read anything into that other than they want as much evidence as possible. Hi, Tom. Nice name. It has to be 100% that his wife or daughter recognized his walk on the bridge. There can only be about 50 possible suspects in Delphi, 2,800 population. Well, people were not sure that it was definitely somebody from Delphi. Also, the guy or the person who worked with him at CVS said he did not have a noticeable gait or a noticeable walk, like, or any problems walking. So, like people have said so many times, that video of Bridge Guy is literally like 1.5 seconds. So you really can't make huge assumptions. Janice says, to be fair, with so few people who live in Delphi, in 5.5 years, they could have gotten DNA from all of the men. Some they would have already had. Yeah, but it's like, can you really say, all right, we're going to get DNA from everybody? Are they going to sneak into everybody's garbage on Friday morning and hope they get like the DNA from the guy inside? Maybe that would have been a good idea. But like I said before, we're not positive that the DNA at the scene was a good enough sample to match up to anything. I don't know. I'm not too knowledgeable about anything, especially DNA, but if it's a bad sample and they finally get Rick's DNA, is it possible to match it up even to a bad sample? Dave says KK is a habitual liar for real. Listening to him for any reason is a mistake. Okay, I agree. Yeah, so people are wondering what else has Rick done in his past? A similar murder, I guess, is the Evansdale murders of two young cousins who were even younger than Abby and Libby. That's in Illinois, right? So somebody said that they worked with Rick at Walmart and then he got transferred to Illinois, and people are wondering, could he be responsible for the Evansdale murders? I don't know. I don't know if there's DNA in that case that they could also try and match up with Rick. I'm not really familiar with it. So Robert says, you can bet this is not his first murders. How many serial killers start at 45 killing? Bet they dig deep enough. He's probably done it before. Hopefully the families and friends get closure. Yes. Chico said there's a photo from the jail of him next to height chart. He is 5'6". Okay. Yeah, I know some people are saying 5'4". I think that was on a booking document where he went into jail. Do you think Kagan wants to insert himself for some twisted sense of clout? I'm not sure, because for so long he was denying it. And people said, well, is he lying to get a plea deal in his CSAM? But why would you say, oh, yeah, I'm involved in Delphi, give me 2 years if I tell you lies? Like, the police aren't going to fall for that. And it seems like they were discussing a plea deal, and he had another court appearance recently, and people were expecting maybe a possible plea deal, and it's like the police said, no, we're going to trial in January. Alibaba says bridge guy is not Alan. Okay, well then who is it? Do you think this is the guy? Like I said, even looking at a bunch of his photos online, like of his face, and then watching back the video, it's not like it totally matches up with me. Like, oh yeah, that's definitely the guy, his face. But like I've said so many times, you can't really make out the face of the guy in the bridge guy video. So do I think this is the guy? An arrest after all this time? It seems like the police think it is. So yes, hopefully it is. There's no way they would arrest somebody and say, okay, we solved the Delphi murders, and then it's like, oops, we were wrong. They have to have some really good evidence. Turtle says, everyone is saying he's a serial killer. I think he's a lucky pedophile. But like, why would he see two teenage girls, two 8th graders at the end of the bridge and think, I'm going to molest 2 girls? I don't know. I mean, people said he might have had a gun that he got them to go down the hill, but I don't know. Hopefully we'll find out why he was there and exactly what happened, but I'm not sure that's going to be the case. Lisa says the Klein's dog was also removed due to them being into bestiality. But I think it was removed. And some people said the dog was removed. So Tony's house was raided February 25th, 2017, like 11 days after the girls were found. And then apparently in late November of last year, 2021, apparently Tony Klein's house was raided again, which does not make sense to me. Like, what were they looking for, if it was related to Delphi or not? But people said that the dog was removed as a procedure, so it would not like attack the people going through the house, and that was probably returned to Tony. A lot of people are asking, what is CSAM? It's inappropriate child images. It's child sexual abuse material or media. Instead of saying child, PORN. Let's see. Ira is asking, what do we think that Paul Holes contributed to the case? Apparently, he's posted an Instagram photo last summer standing on the Delphi Bridge, and people assumed that he offered his services. He's the guy who was the detective, I guess, in the Golden State Killer. And they used, I guess, that genealogical DNA testing to figure out it was that older cop guy. I'm not totally familiar with that case, but I think people had been saying that Paul Holes offered to help in Delphi case, and he was told, no, thank you. So I don't know. Deborah says, it was said that Richard had child images on his computer and his wife found it. I don't know. That's the first time I heard that rumor. And I'm almost an hour behind comments. Let me scroll real quick and ignore like 50 people at a time. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry to everybody. I try my best to get to these comments, but there's just, you're talking too much. Oh yeah, and I usually prefer to have like somebody come on video and talk to somebody in person, but I first started doing these chats. This is only my 7th one. In June, like I said, I did one deep dive on Delphi a year ago or a year and a half ago, and then I did a huge one on Missy Beaver's case. So I told people I would do live chats in June, and some clowns like clicked my link to join this on video, and somebody showed an adult movie, and like I wasn't familiar with this software. I was like, how do I get that off this screen? So I don't allow people to come on. I just try to answer your comments. Sorry, I know it's boring as hell, but I don't want to subject people to that. Oh, God. You guys, you're not supposed to be commenting that I had almost 1,000 viewers. Now I have 1,400. Oh, God. Lucky Owl, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Was Alan born and raised in Delphi? No. His senior picture, I think it was North Miami High School or something. So I'm pretty sure he is from Indiana. And like I said, he bought his current house in Delphi in 2006. Thank you, Josh. But like I said before, it's like, what did I even contribute to getting it solved? Let's see. Grunge Truck says, could easily be a death penalty case. Honestly, I think if he did this, he deserves it. Let's see. Taylor says, I think this is way bigger than anyone thinks. I think that screen name was absolutely shared, and they were making a video to sell to very sick people. We can't rationalize it because it's not normal. Yeah, some people said some objects that may have been taken from Rick's house were some kind of media. They wondered if there was any photos or video taken of the girls at the murder site. There's been talk about the girls being moved and staged, and people have speculated a lot about what staging meant. And I've read some rumors that like maybe some pretty disgusting things were done to the girls' bodies afterwards that may have been a reason for somebody to take a picture for, I guess, to look at it later on. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Miranda says, I think Rick told someone he thought wouldn't tell, but why would he even tell anybody? It's like you get away with murdering 2 girls in your town, like a mile and a half from your house. You work at CVS where everybody in the town is coming in and looking at you Like literally the wanted poster and a picture of you on the bridge is right there. It's like, why would he finally admit this? And now he's not cooperating. So it's like, I don't know. Bossy says it's been mentioned that the small hole they dug up in Rick's yard was bottle cap sized. Some speculate it's a soil sample, which makes sense. Even Carter's referencing scientific DNA aspect. Some people also speculated could it have been like an SD card, which is a memory card, and wondering if that would have images from the murder scene or something like he took with a camera and then buried the, I don't know, but why wouldn't he just like throw it in a random dumpster instead of his backyard? Seriously. Let's see. Hi, Gorby. Do you think he knew who Abby and Libby were because the town was so small, or at least seen them before? I mean, well, if he was working at CVS, then who knows? I mean, I know the family went in, or Libby's family at least went into CVS. So could the girls have gone in there before and seen him? I don't know. We just don't have answers at this point. I don't know if I said this before. I think I did, but it's like any of the witnesses, how could they not have recognized them or recognized Rick at the local CVS if they saw him on the trails? Venus Gal says they will never offer a plea to a murderer of these two girls unless it was a solid life sentence. The public would have a fit. Yes, just a reminder, please be respectful to other viewers or chatters. Somebody said he was still on probation for DUI when he murdered Abby and Libby. So if he walked, why are police asking for who parked at the CPS building for 5 hours? And I never understood why would the car be at CPS until 5 o'clock if the murders essentially happened. I would assume by like 2:20 it was over. He encountered them at 2:13. They would have gotten across the creek fairly quickly, I think. But I don't know. Somebody said he drove the girls away from the murder site, killed them, and brought them back overnight. I don't think so. Maybe he was doing something and got caught, drugs, etc. Yeah, I mean, some people may have gone to the trails to do meth. And could somebody have been doing something illegal? The girls, I guess, were dropped off. They made that left down towards the bridge. Could they have seen somebody doing something illegal and the guy freaked out that they were going to call the police and tell on him? I don't know. If people are saying that he was on some kind of probation, I mean, I doubt he's like at the trails, like doing meth or something, though. Honey Bunny for You says, who is Emily Ann? So Kagan created various online profiles trying to get inappropriate pictures from young girls. And he said that he created Emily Ann 45, I guess it was the screen name. And he said it because girls would be more willing to start chatting with another female, so that he could somehow then take it to talking about getting naked pictures. Clayton says another win for genealogy is my vote. Yeah, like I said, but I'm not sure how good the sample was to even do that. And why would they not have done it quite a few years ago? The Violet Bunny says people need to stop being armchair detectives and making assumptions, wait for the police and let them do their job. So yeah, but We have no other info. We have nothing better to do with our lives. Hi, Sassy. Thanks for joining an hour ago. I'm going to play a video again real quick. My 7-minute one, just to do for people who are new. Let's see. This is stuff that I found that you might find interesting. Give me a second. Hold on. What am I doing here? Stop screen. So this is about 7 minutes.
On Friday, when the news broke that this guy, Rick Allen, was arrested and possibly linked to the Delphi murders, some viewers who knew that I had previously covered this case asked me to do a quick video. So I made a 7-minute video with some comparisons of his face, body, and voice. Right now, I'm just going to review some things that I've found since then. This apparently is a state-issued ID. I'm not sure if it's related to him working at CVS drugstore. This is apparently him in his high school senior portrait. I just want to preface this by saying these are unconfirmed, but apparently some of his former coworkers have been going on Facebook and Reddit and stating what their interactions with him were. This person said that Rick was a shift manager back at Walmart in Lafayette, Indiana, which is about 25 minutes from Delphi, in the 2009 to 2012-ish era. He was known as Rick. He was a nice guy, but then he got kind of douchey at the end. He would make sexual comments to the women and then acted generally creepy. He got transferred to a new store in Illinois, and I never saw him again. This person worked with Rick at the CVS in Delphi for 8 months from July 2020 to April 2021. His job title was Shift Supervisor RX. He did have his pharmacist license, but was only really a backup technician if needed. He was mostly either the shift leader or a shift support when he worked. Rick was the first and unfortunately the most polite and cooperative person to work with. He did a great job hiding in plain sight. The only story I ever heard about Rick's past was that he was a recovering alcoholic, went to an institution sometime prior to me working there, and had worked at Walmart for a few years. He never pinged under anyone's radar because he was literally one of the nicest and joking people working there. He didn't seem paranoid. It's also been mentioned that there was a sketch of the killer at the CVS where he worked. People are wondering how this arrest unfolded. Again, this text message I'm going to show is unconfirmed. I mean, I don't know that we can really trust anybody who has 61 unopened text messages. So apparently this person may have asked a law enforcement friend, hey, look into what happened on blank road in Delphi last night, which is the address where Rick lived, which I blurred out. Couple houses from friend. There was a dozen or so unmarked cars, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., digging in backyard. Got anyone you can ask? Delphi. Up here, you can see the date is Saturday, October 15th. So this digging would have happened Friday, October 14th, which was 2 weeks before his arrest was announced. The person said they have not found out anything yet. And the person continued, I asked my friend who is a state cop and works that area, and he looked at me like I was stupid and acted like nothing is going on. I still have a feeling it's connected, and the person who told me they dug the yard up lives 2 doors down, so I don't think she's assuming because she watched them do it. And she said it was a bunch of unmarked police cars, detectives, and digging all day long. I recorded most of this video last night, and then this morning, obviously, they had the press conference, and I'm adding this news story, which gives some more clarification about the search of his house.
That's right, Cheyenne. So I did speak with some neighbors of Richard Allen who watched on Thursday, October 13th, as investigators searched his house. They saw the investigators arrive just before noon and asked Richard and his wife to exit their home and remain outside, where they did remain outside for the entire day. The entire process took about 12 hours. We have exclusively obtained 4 images showing that search. In the first image, it is a bit from a distance. You see 2 men standing. One has his back to the camera, the other is side to the camera, and just over the man with his back to the camera, just over his right side, you can see the shoulder and head of Richard Allen, who is standing outside of his wife's vehicle. The neighbors tell me that his wife sat in the vehicle for several hours. He stood outside of it. At some point, he did get in the vehicle with her. The second image shows him sitting in the front passenger seat of that vehicle. My understanding is that for several hours, while they kept Richard and his wife outside of their home and in the driveway of their small neighborhood, that investigators also remained outside. And as it approached nightfall, the neighbors tell me that they saw Carroll County Sheriff's Deputy, Chief Deputy Tony Liggett, who they know, who is a member of the task force and was on the stage here today. He arrived with a piece of paper. He took that paper over to Richard Allen and showed it to him. And it was after that that a tow truck arrived and began towing his vehicle, and the officers went into the house. One of the neighbors watched with binoculars as he says investigators came out of the house with several items. They had two large bundles of what he described as dark-colored cloth. Perhaps it was clothing, but he said it was getting dark at that point. He couldn't identify it for sure as clothing. But two bundles of some sort of dark cloth. They also took out a Macy's shopping bag and a shoebox. The neighbors also watched as two areas near Richard Allen's shed in his backyard were searched. They were described to me as being rather small areas. One, in fact, being so small that they thought perhaps only something like a bottle cap could have come out of that hole. That area is still undisturbed. Nobody has been at Richard Allen's home since Wednesday of last week, when it is my understanding that he was taken into custody and in court and charged on Friday. So these are images from October 13th from the neighbors. They describe him, they tell me they've lived a few houses down from him for several years. They said there was really nothing special about him. He was very quiet. He and his wife had lived there for a long time, and they didn't have many visitors over. They didn't have parties or anything like that. And they were very quiet neighbors. They would see Richard when he'd come home from work, and he would sit out in his driveway and sit in a lawn chair and have a few beers and a few cigarettes. But they said there was never any trouble from their neighbors. They had no idea when the search happened, what was going on. And then on Friday, as the news started to break that there had been a major development in this case, they called a family member of Liberty German that they know, and she indicated that their neighbor might in fact be connected to this case.
Google Earth has a feature where you can look back a few years. So this is September 2014. This is April 2017, 2 months after the murders. It does not look like there's any dirt. I mean, obviously there's green grass growing. There's something here near the back of the house, but it's not that big. And it seems highly unlikely that he would bury something from the murders that close to the back door. I know there's a patch back here, but there's another house to the right that I cropped out and also down to the bottom. So I'm not sure exactly where his property line ends. This is July 2018. Not much has changed. This same dark spot is still near the back door. And here is one car. Some people online said sometimes he would walk to work and possibly share a car with his wife. Again, that's just a rumor. And the last one is July 2022, 3 months ago. Again, really not much has changed.
Wow. Sorry, got messed up at the end there. Yeah, so somebody pointed out there's also a rumor that he went to either a mental health clinic or like for alcoholism. They said it was after the murders. I've not seen that. It was 2 days after the murders, but that is a rumor that people are talking about. Grunge Truck says, I'm amazed how clean law enforcement was in this case. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think most people feel like law enforcement did make some mistakes, but I've really been impressed by how much they have not revealed, as frustrating as it was. And especially even with this latest arrest, I mean, I do give them credit for keeping their mouth shut. Dad Stash says someone had to turn the guy in and law enforcement investigated a tip. Nothing else makes sense. He came out of nowhere. Yeah, at first there was a rumor that he stole something from a neighbor, and that's what police went to look at his house, and then they found stuff. But like I said, a lot of these are just rumors. Jordan asked, why do you think he was not someone that came up on everyone's radar, even though so many people have looked so closely at this case? Well, like I was saying before, I'm an hour behind on comments, so maybe you heard me say this. He's apparently shorter than what was on the FBI wanted poster, and he's also older than it. So I don't know, if you knew him, you'd say, oh, he doesn't match up who they're looking for. Tom says 99% of these web sleuths are always wrong, and they falsely accuse tons of innocent people, which I don't feel like I did that. It is sickening. Yeah, so I did want to talk about this because, not to say I told you so or anything, but people would comment under my videos, especially my first one where I went through some of the major suspects, and there were quite a few comments where they were like, you don't, oh wait, here comes an impression. You don't think it's Brian Chadwell, you're an idiot. Well, it's like, my face just said what I thought. So, but it's like, let's go through the list. Orange truck guy, initials PB, people said he was the killer. DP, arguing couple guy. The archaeology professor. The pastor. I mean, they said Mike Patty. I never got that one. It's like if people said it was Mike Patty, Libby's grandfather, on the bridge. It's like they have more video. Wouldn't you think the reaction of Libby on the 43-second video would be like, hey, grandpa, instead of something else? It's like, use your brains, people. Yeah, so there's a huge list of people who have been accused of murdering. It's like, I mean, some of them, who cares? Like Charles Eldridge and all these other guys who have done other crimes, but it's like quite a few innocent guys have been accused. People were saying Tobe Lesenby, the sheriff. And I proved that in my first video. I said, if the jeans don't fit, you must acquit. So at least I was right about that. Yeah, anyway, so I agree with you, Tom. Anybody who has the first name Tom is on the case. Although I obviously didn't solve this, or Missy Beaver. Somebody says this, the Beaver case. I don't know what you said. The first part of it was the. I'll just do this real quick. I know what the next case should be that needs fresh eyes going through the entire thing. Barry Morphew. I've heard of it, and I looked at it real quick, and no, thank you. Thank you very much, Cassidy. Tony Klein equals red herring. Kagan in Jeep with Rick. Kagan failed polygraph. No, but I've seen things where Kagan is telling that it was his dad. So it's like, he's messed up. Josh says, the way the pants fit him, he looks short. I don't know. I mentioned something about that in my first video, and somebody said something that I was an idiot. I don't know. I agree. Let's see. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. Andar. Actually, informative channels like yours do help counterbalance the conspiracy theories. I mean, like I said, I'm really frustrated that I did not contribute to it, but I just made my videos trying to help save people time, because I spent a few hundred hours and I just never saw a video where it kind of had whatever ended up in my video. So, I mean, at least hopefully it got people familiar with hopefully what I consider to be facts. Paul Holes, the investigator of Golden State Killer, said at the crime con, I have to sneeze. Oh my gosh. All right, it went away. At CrimeCon, they had confirmation bias for the first 2 years, and after Golden State Killer, he consulted with one of the investigators, and they seem to be back on track. Oh God, I'm at 1,500. Don't say how many people are in the chat or in the chat comments. Thank you. Steph says, I think the Kleins are involved. I don't believe in such huge coincidences. Yeah, but I mean, it's like, is Tony Klein going to be charged with CSAM? I mean, I don't know. That remains to be seen, but let's, I guess, talk about Delphi. Billy says eyewitness testimony is very unreliable. Yeah, apparently. Let's see. High clinical depression. What did you miss? Not much. Oh yeah. So I've been going an hour and 45 minutes. I'll go about 3 hours maybe. And then I always say I'll do another 30 minutes. No, thank you. Oh yeah. So after this, will I ever do another live chat? I guess so. I mean, some people keep coming back, so maybe some people like it, even though I don't. I guess when whatever the probable cause affidavit showing why they arrested him, maybe I'll do one for that. And like I said previously, if there is a trial, I might do a live chat every night just to review what happened or whatever. We'll see. Ben says, in his opinion, height can be tough to determine unless you have scale in the background. Yeah, obviously it was in the woods, but why could they not have gone there and sat where Libby sat using her same kind of iPhone 6, measure people with and without shoes from 5 foot, whatever, 2 to 6'2" or more, and have each person stand in the same spot where that bridge guy stood and just compare. I mean, it does not really seem like that difficult or that expensive. I think Congress should pass a law that there should not be a movie made about this case. It's like, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of documentaries about it, though. Daisy says, I'm hopeful for some Missy Beavers news. Arrest next. You're on a roll. I wish. So after I first looked into this in whatever, February to May 2021, I felt like this would never be solved. And after I finished my Missy Beavers video, I felt the same. It's like 5 and 6 years goes by, and it's like, what have they not done that will end up with an arrest? And apparently it's possible. So hopefully, yes, Missy Beaver's killer will be identified and arrested. Somebody with a screen name I can't pronounce says, during police briefing today, they mentioned that the reward, which I think was 325,000, was going to be issued out. It's possible that the tip that came in was the one that cracked the case. I heard Doug Carter say in an interview that he did not say that. He didn't say that it would not be paid out, but it did not match up with what you're saying. But I'm not saying that you're lying or anything. I'm just saying it did not match up with what I saw. Hi, the Rockaways. A witness said the bridge guy, or the guy that, so the bridge guy was very short, approximately her height, 5'6". So yes, one of the, I guess, most reliable witness descriptions or whatever is a teenage girl who's at the trails with, I think it was 3 of her friends. I think they had gone towards the bridge, but then there's another trail that goes down. I believe they went to the bottom one and then they went back towards Freedom Bridge. And when they were near Freedom Bridge, the 4 girls were passing by this guy, and the one teenage girl said hi to him, and he gave her a dirty look, or he looked creepy. She said she was 5'6", and she thought he was about her height, possibly an inch taller. But like I was saying in my Tony Klein video, and even Kagan says he's like 5'10". That's a big difference. That's not really close to 5'6", like this girl. So this is another reason, like, this girl seems to be somewhat reliable. But like I said, did that girl never go to CVS? And I mean, I'm not blaming her, but I've actually tried to do something similar, like an eyewitness thing, where I'm walking somewhere, I see somebody who I've never seen before. I look at them for 1 second and I try to think, how would I describe that person? And like, I forget practically everything about them. So like, I guess Billy said, eyewitness testimony and recollections are not reliable. Sean, yeah, after Missy Beavers, well, actually, even after or in my intro to my first Delphi video, I was like, I'm not doing true crime. But then I said, don't subscribe to my channel. I'm not doing any more true crime videos. And 1,500 people didn't listen to me. So I felt bad. And somebody suggested Missy Beaver. So I spent 600 hours looking into that. And I did a 5-hour video on her. And yeah, I don't want to say I wasted time, but it's like, what did I contribute? Oh my God. So I said, do not put on notifications. I don't want to wake people up with my stupid videos. I think KB is making a joke here that it woke her up. Why are you sleeping? You better be in Europe. Let's see. Well, I don't know what this. Oh my God, you're kidding me. You are the Trixie Mattel of true crime. Yeah, let's try and talk about things related to the case. Tamra, the townspeople should be glad more people didn't get killed during the 5+ years it's taken to round up this man. Like I said, people are wondering what other things has Rick done. And like I said in my other videos, it's like, if you get away with this like internationally known crime and you're working at the CVS next to your picture on the bridge, are you really even risking doing another crime that's going to get you arrested for Delphi? I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out. Peter says he is 5'7". The marks on the mugshot are 2 inches apart. Well, what I just showed was like a brick wall. I didn't see any height. I don't know. Maybe that was the zoomed out or zoomed in. Sorry. Hi, Anna. Anna said early on that he had shorter than average legs and a barrel chest. That's why his pants legs are too long. Off the rack pants won't have short enough legs. He never had them re-hemmed. Yeah, I mean, I felt like the shoe. I may have maybe in my first video, I may not have said this, but looking at the shoes of the guys on the bridge, it looked weird to me. I don't remember if I said they look small, but I think they look small. And I showed like him in sneakers 2 months or 3 months before the murders. He has small feet. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Let's see. JD asked, he was a farm tech. Why would he process the photos? Lol. So apparently he was a shift supervisor, which I guess does a variety of tasks, but he had to get his license to be a backup in case I don't even know what a pharmacist tech is, to be honest. So he did a variety of things, and somebody else would have processed, or maybe he processed photos, and he apparently worked the register. So like, if you even saw, like, maybe he did not know who Libby's aunt was, and then he saw her at the register and she said, I'm here to pick up the photos of Libby and Abby. Can you imagine what he thought, like, as the killer? Death penalty. Let's say, yeah, Dad stash. He was supposedly at work on Wednesday. Yeah, I want to know what his alibi was for Monday. Somebody, the CVS coworker, said their hours and days kind of varied, so it's not always like he would have always had Monday off. Sorry, there's way too many comments. Heather says, Kelsey posted the updated wanted poster in March of this year, the one without the specific descriptors. All right, thank you, Heather. Cassidy, thank you again. Please stop giving me money. Please donate to one of the 3 funds. I showed it at the intro to this video, and I'll put links in later. Kagan to Vegas after he Googled the case. Like, yeah, it's like he's on vacation. Why is he searching about the case? So I guess we'll hopefully find out if he is involved with the murders, or if he was just, I mean, obviously he knew he was talking to Libby. So it does seem possible if he's not involved in the murders, he's obviously going to be looking to find out what's going on with the girl that he was trying to catfish. Get some eye bright, Liz Earl, QVC, amazing stuff that works. Oh, is that for me or the prosecutor? Or both? Let's see. Janice says, in a small town like this, news will leak out about what they have. I don't know. They seem to have a small task force. And like I said before, police have been very good about not releasing information, which has been very frustrating for all of us amateur clowns. But hopefully, I mean, we want a conviction, not, we can wait a few months to find out the facts. Chris says it was mentioned in a podcast that someone in his family got suspicious and potentially turned him in. At what point, though? I mean, why were they not suspicious a long time ago? I said that he apparently was interviewed at some point previously. And how did he lie to the police and have them not look into him even more? Somebody said he may have had an alibi and somebody corroborated it, and that person may have lied. So maybe that's people are going to or police are going to prosecute that other person who may have been his false alibi knowingly. Yeah, so I have not talked about this yet. So Lauren says, the only thing I have seen that would hint to Rick, we can call him Rick instead of RA, that would hint to Rick being discussed years ago was on 4chan. And also that police were inquiring about knives at stores, including at CVS. I never heard that second part, but the 4chan thing is, since Rick was named, I guess some people looked on, or Richard, some people saw on 4chan, maybe in 2020, somebody said they were local, and I forget exactly what it was, but they named Richard. And then that person apparently later said, oh, no, it was a autofill thing. So I don't know. Sorry, that was not very informative, but okay. I'm not sure what this is about. It says, Daisy, read the Logan warrant. So let me just say, to make this easy for people. So like I said, I made my videos to try and save people time. And people started asking me after my first video if I could share all of the files that I showed in the video. So I created a website and I hosted like every file from my first look at Delphi. And then I uploaded all my Missy Beaver stuff. And then on my September Kegan Klein one, I uploaded all that stuff. So if you're looking for a lot of documents related to this or Missy Beavers, just go to tomwebster.com. The only thing I have there on the homepage is Delphi or Missy Beavers. Just click one of those and it'll take you to a page where you can just start downloading all of my files. And it does have the Ron Logan warrant and Kegan's 194-page interview and also Kegan's like probable cause affidavit. Somebody's saying that the facts will leak. Turtle says he's from Indianapolis. Small town talk isn't always based on facts so much as gossip. Let's see. Oh my God, I'm an hour and 20 minutes behind the comments. I'm going to scroll down. See, I hate, oh my God, we're talking about jet skis still? All right. Bear with me. And like I said, I'm so sorry for, like, there's so many comments. I get stressed out not being able to acknowledge all of you. Thank you all for joining. 1,500. Oh God. I appreciate anybody who gives money, but like I said, please donate to these 3 funds. I'll put a link in before. And at the beginning of this video, I showed exactly how to donate to these Liberty German Scholarship Fund, Abigail Williams Scholarship Fund, and the L&A Memorial Park Fund. Let's see. Dad Stash said that Rick worked in the store as a cashier before becoming a pharmacy tech. And people, like I said in my video, he worked at Walmart before this, apparently. Bookish says, what do you think about the burn pit search at RA's house? and the rumor of the burn barrel search at TK's parents' house. Yeah, so before I talked about Rick's search, but I don't know. I mean, I guess Murder Sheet went to Rick's house the day, I guess Friday, and they looked in the backyard. I mean, they weren't like out there with a metal detector, I don't think. But they said it wasn't really that disturbed in the back. So I don't know whether a burn pit is a rumor that's true or not. It seems like the burn pit at Tony's house did happen. People speculated that Kagan started talking in late August and saying, okay, I threw something in the Wabash River near my dad's house and we burned stuff at I think Kagan at one point said Tony burned stuff in Tony's backyard. I saw something where Kagan said to somebody else, my dad burned his clothes. So it's like what the F is up with Kagan? I don't know. I don't know. Sorry. Gone. Anna says a Reddit notice just came in claiming that Rick had been questioned and quote cleared. I saw Doug Carter today said nobody has ever been cleared. Actually, they didn't clear anyone, but was he questioned and disregarded? Yeah, it seems like that's the case, Anna. Oh yeah, so this is something I heard also. Candace says, I heard Anna, who is Abby's mother, worked at a bar, not sure which one. Some people said it may have been, so that bar, just to be clear, that picture of Rick in a location which behind him has the young guy bridge guy sketch or the young guy suspect sketch. It's not at his house. I mean, from my video, sorry, I thought I made it clear. Rick and his wife went to this bar. I don't know the exact name, if it was JC's bar or J and C or something like that. And apparently it closed in maybe 2021. And so Rick's wife posted like 38 photos of her and him at this bar with their friends, just as like nostalgic things, saying they had fun there, I guess. So somebody may have said that Anna, I don't know if she worked as a bartender or what, but they were wondering if she worked at this bar. And just like I said before, with Libby's aunt going to CVS, picking up pictures from Rick of the girls. And he's also going to a bar where the mother of the girl he murdered is working there. It's like messed up. Yeah, so I don't know. That's a rumor. That's not confirmed. Anna has not confirmed that as far as I know. Let's see. Clinical Depression says, I think the voices match more than any other ones. Well, people thought it was matched Kagan's. I'm not saying that you're wrong, Clinical, but a lot of people said 100% that's Kagan on the bridge, and 100% Kagan on the audio. Billy, like you're one of my funniest super fans. I'm kidding. I don't have any super fans. That was a joke, but it wasn't a good one. Billy says, I heard they escaped on a gondola, not a jet ski. I was going to say something, but I said I wouldn't curse, but I appreciate your humor, Billy. Let's see. The Violet Bunny says, same tone to voice. I mean, I couldn't really hear Rick on the gondola. I mean, and also just to be clear, his wife, I think, said, shut up. He did not tell her to shut up. Oh, God. The Murder Sheet, mad as hell, they got it wrong. Well, to be honest, the things they released, I do not think they got anything wrong. It seemed to be truthful information. They only said they were being told that Tony Klein was the focus of the investigation, not that they never said Tony was the killer. So, I mean, obviously, this is a huge shock to all of us that some guy that we never heard of is the killer, but I don't know. That's just whatever. Hi, Mark. You left that like an hour and a half ago. You're probably gone by now watching cat videos. Um, Venus Gal, I can say this. People who frequent bars in small towns, and I lived in one 2 times the size, know all bar patrons for miles around. Logan and Rick, likely they knew each other. Doesn't mean Ron was involved, though. Like I said, it's definitely not Ron on the bridge. Whether he knew Rick or something happened that day that he never told, I can't say that for sure. But I never thought he was on the bridge. Hi, Positively Parker. You may have changed your mind in the past hour. Let's see. Hi, Marshall. Thanks for joining. I totally disagree with you. Oh my God. Lena's Aniket. I'm horrible at these names. She forgot about Gene Shalit. I'm glad I was able to shine a light on Gene's mustache. Anna says, the wife had a video on Facebook where she gleefully stalked her husband, waiting for her in the car. She snuck up on the cell phone video. She snuck up with the cell phone video. He looked PO'd. That's correct. Like he hated like that sort of thing. Well, he didn't know it was her, so I don't know. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, so like I showed in my video, is he wearing the blue jacket that the killer was wearing? I don't know. I can't. It's not a good enough video of him in the car to say for certain. But I shouldn't even bring this up. In my first video, I kind of focused on people are going to roll their eyes and say they disagree. It's fine. I watched the video of the guy on the bridge so many times, and I noticed these black and white marks around the knees. I said, does this guy's jeans have rips or tears in them? Plenty of people disagreed. I'm not saying for sure that it is that, but it was just something that I could not bring up as like part of my first video. So I'm going to be curious to know, because even if there's not black holes in those jeans, I really feel like as you're watching the video, the pant leg on the right below the knee, there's like a white stripe. So I'm just curious to see if there's going to be any photos that come out of Rick, either with holes in his jeans or that white stripe that's fading. Probably not, but you never know. Yeah, I'm definitely not pronouncing that one. Okay, I was going to say I'm not funny, but that was pretty funny to say that. And yeah, and I am very sweet. So thank you. You're very smart and observational. Kidding. We the people. What's your guess on the evidence they have on Rick? I have no clue. I'm not going to lie and pretend I do. Hi, God. Can you all like change your name to Jane so I don't struggle with these screen names? Sherry Tomlinson, thank you for joining. Duty Ron thinks a lot of you. Yeah, I saw he asked me to use my video, and then I watched it back, and at least he laughed at some of my jokes. But yeah, Duty Ron, I'd never heard of him, so let me give him a shout out. He's a retired, I guess, New York City investigator or detective, and he has like 140,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if you like true crime, go check out Duty Ron on YouTube. Susan said, thank you for having a name I could pronounce. What kind of car did Rick drive in 2017? So some people have been saying he may have had a DUI, so he might not have been driving. I said that I read online that he may have walked to work sometimes at CVS, and also that he may have shared a car with his wife. So in the one Google satellite view or whatever, I said that, or I showed, it looks like there's a gray car in their driveway from maybe 2018, or is that, I don't know. So I don't know, so Zin. Hi, Rhythm and Blues. They towed his vehicle. I don't know if I have the best coverage. It's like I said, I did nothing to solve this, so I don't know. Thank you for thanking me, though. Yeah, I don't know why they would have towed his vehicle so long after the murders. It's like, what are they going to find? I mean, obviously his DNA, but they could have gotten it from other stuff in the house. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Trial is set for March 20th. Like we've said, 2028. It could get pushed back a really long time. I don't like highlighting compliments, but I don't like ignoring people. Bren says, my deep dives are phenomenal. Like I said, I hope they save people a lot of time. If you want a new case to look into, I have a 4-hour and 51-minute video on Missy Beavers, which is still unsolved, and it's just as frustrating as this case. The killer is on video in a church wearing SWAT outfit. I don't know. I can't get into it. Go spend 5 hours watching it, or just put it on 2 times speed. And my, like I said before, my files for Missy Beavers are on tomwebster.com if you want to save him even more time. I don't know what to call you. XTY NC. I don't get the hyper focus on sketches. I don't think I could describe my brother well enough to get every micro feature right. If I think of a woman I passed walking today, I can't picture her face. Yeah, like I said, it's not reliable. John says the voice does not click for me as sounding similar, but I don't think they'll use that video in the trial as it's not high quality enough for a jury to identify someone. Well, is the defense going to use it and say, I don't know, to refute that it's him? I would hope now that if they know that Rick is whatever 5'7", put somebody in similar shoes and maybe do that height test. I don't know. I don't know that the prosecutors would use that as evidence at the trial, but I don't know. The Rockaway said the clients left Peru right after ski mask incident. Yeah, but I think they didn't truly have that trip planned beforehand. Susan Lee said Barbara McDonald from HLN mentioned several items that were taken. Yeah, I showed that video twice, but you can watch it on HLN or YouTube. Let's see. Bee's knees. Rick resolved his DUI by December 2016 and was given a restricted license, though I don't know the terms. I'm not doubting you, but I was going to ask you how you know that, but I'm so far behind on comments, I'll never find out. Actually, yeah, so unfortunately, like I said, I feel so bad that I missed so many comments. So I'm going to watch this back and I'll try and create a pinned comment at the top of this video replay where I try and answer some of the questions that I missed that were never referenced. Marshall says that army green soft beanie hat looks like it is the same in BG pic to me. Just put on at a different angle. Yeah, somebody said maybe it was the same hat turned inside out. Because like I said, it has like those, what are they called? They're not ridges, whatever. Seams. I don't see the seams in Bridge Guy's photo, and it also looks looser. The thing, whatever's on Bridge Guy's head. It's like not exactly on his head. I don't know. But maybe that would account for looking like it is bangs. I don't know. Some people noticed that his wife was wearing a camouflage hat in some 2018 pictures, but I think it has too much black in it and too many varied colors to match the Bridge Guy's hat. Just Samantha says, I think the Emily Ann profile was Rick and the ski mask incident as well. So was Rick trying to silence the ski mask girl instead of Tony or Kagan that we were suspecting? Judge Dredd, why wouldn't Kagan turn Rick in earlier when Kagan was potentially charged with murder? I mean, yeah, it's like, why would he wait so long to turn on Rick? I mean, people said he would not turn on his dad, but if he knew that it was Rick, Like, why would he care? I don't know. He would want to save himself, not Rick. Venus Gal asked, are we talking about Ron or Rick with the DUI? We're talking about Rick. He also had problems with alcohol and driving. Angela looked up Rick's record. He has a lot of speeding tickets and a couple of DUI and a domestic incident going back to the 90s. Does anybody know, was he married before? I thought I saw somebody said he was divorced twice, so I don't know if he's on his third wife or not. And also, can anybody confirm if he does have an additional child in addition to his daughter? And for people who are wondering if his daughter was in school, she got married in the end of 2017, so it wasn't like she went to the same school or was even in high school at this time. Yeah, just to recap, Susan says 2 bundles of dark cloth. This is stuff taken from Rick's house, October 13th of this year. 2 bundles of dark cloth, a shoebox, a Macy's bag, photographic equipment from a shed, and a vehicle, and lots of digging around the shed. Susan said, had to be blood in the car he used. I mean, you would think, I don't know, if police have video from across the street from CPS of a car at CPS for 5 hours, I mean, they know the color of it. Like I said, if it was a red Jeep or if it's a car that matches whatever description of somebody you're interviewing, wouldn't you look and see? So you're interviewing Rick. Wouldn't you look in his driveway or in court, or not court records, but DMV to see what kind of car he owns and if it matches what's at CPS? I don't know. Yeah, so a lot of people think Rick was involved in CSAM and possibly knew about Kagan. Raven says Kagan is getting paid way too much for interviews. I don't know that he's really getting paid. I mean, people are sending him money, but it's not a lot and not for interviews. Yeah, but I wonder what he's thinking now that this guy was arrested. Is there a connection, or is he going to be in trouble if he said, oh, yeah, my dad's the killer, and it turns out he was lying again? Carla asked, are you frustrated about the lack of information this morning? No, because I want this guy, frankly, to get the death penalty if he's the person who killed these 2 girls. So we can wait a few more months for the prosecutor to get this right. However, of course, I want to know everything. Bridget said he looked, okay, so Rick looked down right evil. I think you mean right after, but he is evil. So I guess it's a Freudian slip. Rick looked right down when his wife snuck up on him. What was he looking at? So, I zoomed in and I paused it. It's like a aqua and black logo. I couldn't figure it out. But honestly, I spent like 4 seconds thinking about it. I had better things to do. Judge Dredd, both of the girls' parents are never mentioned or come out on camera. Why is that? So I don't know how to word this. So what I was going to say is, I was going to say they don't know who Abby's dad is, but that's not true. I mean, I think it's known who Abby's dad is, but I know that she's been raised pretty much by her mother, possibly her whole life. So her dad might not be involved at all, even at the time of the murder. So it seems to be Libby's mom and dad both had, I don't want to say they both had drug problems, but I know her dad did. I'm not sure why she was not living with her mom. I'm sure I read it at some point. So Libby was living with her grandparents. Her maternal grandmother is Becky Patty. Mike Patty is not her biological grandfather, but she lived with the two of them and her sister Kelsey. So I know Libby's dad, Derek, has never given an interview. I guess, I mean, people have accused Kelsey of like loving the spotlight, but I think she just wanted to keep an eye on her sister's case. Can you imagine dropping your sister off and her friend and it led to this? Yeah, anyway. Hi, Stephanie. Investigation is open and ongoing, possibly others involved, yes. Yeah, so Carrie is Libby's mom's name. Randy, I don't know who Randy is. Gravitt or somebody? Randy Gravitt is a guy who I guess has a YouTube channel and does Delphi videos. Said Carrie, Libby's mom, was also at today's press conference. Sorry, I'm just reading through comments. God, I'm so far. I have to skip over a bunch. Sorry, people. Let's see. Yeah, so a lot of people, hi, Tenacious Investigation Station. A lot of people are saying, how could his wife not have recognized him, his voice, his clothing? I mean, obviously that blue jacket, they lived a mile and a half from the bridge where the girls were killed. It's like she had to have been watching the news and stuff. It's like, wouldn't you put all this stuff together and be like, I mean, I don't know if she was at work that day or what. Yeah, so I mean, I know she shut down her Facebook. People were, I guess, saying horrible things, but if she's not involved, can you imagine like what, like I said before, what she's thinking? Like she was married to the guy who ended up killing these girls. Yeah, so I guess we'll find out if she did know and knowingly did not turn him in or gave him a false alibi or what. Yeah, so this is the same thing. Venus Gal says, I would never involve the family, but I would like to know if he provided an alibi for that day. Obviously, he had to say something to the police. And if he went home and ditched his clothes or she was out of town, etc., just to know how he did this. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get some answers within the next year. Angela said, I would like to know his financial situation around the time of the murders. If he came into some money right after from selling the pics and videos underground. People have talked about like the dark web and if this was a snuff video or like whatever, something similar to that. I don't know. I honestly don't think that even if somebody who did this took or Rick took pictures or video, if he uploaded them to the dark web, I would have thought somebody, even a guy who's doing inappropriate things on the dark web, would see Abby and Libby, even if their faces were whatever blacked out, and be like, why are there a picture of two girls in the woods? Not necessarily that everybody knows this case, but you would hope that somebody would say, okay, even though I'm not supposed to be looking at this stuff, I'll somehow tell the police that this is on the internet or dark web. I know people are saying I'm stupid for thinking that, but I don't know. Sylvia Brown, what do you think about Doug Carter thanking the Peru officer who interviewed Kagokio? And for people who don't know what Kagokio is, I gave him that nickname because he lies more than Pinocchio. Well, I was saying before that Detective Vito was one of the people who Doug Carter thanked. So it's like if Kagan is not involved or CSAM and Anthony Schatz and Tony Klein are not involved, would he have thanked Detective Vito? But also could Detective Vito have been involved with something else that led to find out about this and not necessarily related to the Kleins? So I guess time will tell, hopefully. Hi, the DeLorean. Both a former coworker and a bar owner who knew Rick well said the voice does not sound like him. The person who worked with him at Reddit said the voice did not match, but they said something else like his demeanor. It kind of matched up with his demeanor when he said down the hill, like in the forceful way. I don't know. April says this Ricky guy had to have access to Kagan's Anthony Shots account somehow. Kagan must have given him his login. Well, I don't know if that's true because police said they got a tip from Ski Mask Girl that she was talking to Anthony Shots, and the next day, some guy was looking in her window when she got home off the bus from school. And then police searched who was accessing Anthony Shots. I guess it was Instagram or Snapchat. Comcast said it's coming from this house in Peru. So wouldn't you think if it was also coming from Rick's house in Delphi that police would have gotten that information? That's just my honest reaction to what you said. Positively Parker says Rick has a total Napoleon syndrome. I think he was full of rage. Yeah, like people said, did he do something similar to this before? Kevin asked, what was Rick's alibi? Obviously, we don't know, but I'm sure it'll come out at some point. Sorry, I'm just looking for comments to highlight. Sean says, can't arrest someone on just a tip. Yeah, people are saying there has to be something very concrete, and which is good news, obviously, to get a conviction. So we'll see. Dee Dee asks, if the wife turned on him, sorry, why did she leave her Facebook account up until recently? So, yeah, Dee Dee knows that lots of people go to Facebook to screenshot stuff. It seems like her last upload was, I don't even know, 2021. I might be wrong, but she did not really seem to be posting recently. So maybe she was so upset that she didn't think, oh, I have to make my Facebook private. And people have noted or mentioned that she is missing a bunch of stuff from like 2017. So I think what I saw, she posted in maybe December. I know she posted Thanksgiving, so November 2016 before the murders. I'm not sure if she did December, but I guess her daughter got married late October in 2017. So that might have been like the first time in 2017 where she has a public post, but who knows what was deleted over the past 5.5 years. Joseph says Kagan could have gotten all his charges dropped if he gave up the killer the day of the search warrant. So you're saying if Kagan knew on February 25th, 2017, that Rick was the killer, he could have gotten his CSAM dropped and said, it's not me, it's not my dad, it's this guy, Rick. I agree with you. If Kagan knew it was Rick, I feel like he would have flipped on him years ago. Yeah, I was talking about this a few minutes ago, but your comment is from almost 2 hours ago. Oh, God. All right, I've been going 2.5 hours. We'll see what happens next. How many people? Oh, God. Come on, people. 1,500. Go trick-or-treating. Do I even still have moderators? Who knows what's been going on the past hour and a half? There must be bedlam. Okay. He could have strangled them. people are talking about a fingerprint that was on Libby's forehead. I mean, that's just a rumor, and that it got lost or something by the detective. I don't know. These are just rumors. But it seems like there was a knife that was used to cut their throats because there's a lot of bleeding. So if he strangled them, I doubt they would reference a lot of bleeding at the crime scene. Derek says Rick's wife did not turn him in. She sat in the car for 12 hours with him while they searched their house and stayed with him for 2 weeks until he was arrested. She would have been out the day of the search. That's a good point. But I was thinking, it's like, so this search happened all day long, October 13th, and you're Rick, the murderer, this famous murderer. Like, what is he thinking in that car? And like, why is he still alive? Like, you would think somebody would like commit suicide if, I know some people are going to disagree with me on this, but if you knew that you are responsible for these girls' deaths, and it seems like you're finally found out, like that night when police leave, why would he not kill himself? I'm not saying that he's innocent, but well, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. But people said that, so he was arrested Wednesday, October 26th. It was made public Friday the 28th. Let's see. Derek says, yeah, this was Doug Carter gave an interview after the press conference, and he seemed pretty confident in the arrest and said he can't wait to tell the story. Yeah, he also called it fascinating, I guess, these latest developments. So I look forward to hearing what happened. Yeah, let's unpack that. Says the girl's cause of death has never been released. Correct. You are correct. There's nothing to unpack. Yeah, the autopsy was never released. Dee Dee says Becky confirmed at CrimeCon that there is DNA, although she didn't say how much. Where will the trial be held? So it's in Carroll County, yeah, right? I think Delphi is in Carroll County. I don't know if the defense is going to say he can't get a fair trial in that county or what, but I guess we'll find out. Angela was wondering what was in the shoebox they took. Probably not Manolo Blahniks. I told you I'd say stupid jokes. Sorry, just reading through comments. Alicia says, what did he steal last week? Actually, it was maybe 2 weeks ago, to search his property. So like I said before, there's a rumor that he stole something from a neighbor. Then the police went looking on his property and they found something related to Delphi. That, it's like I said, it's just a rumor. What did he steal last week to search his property? It's not known. You would think the neighbors would be talking. They're too busy with their binoculars on their face. Any pills, or did a neighbor call the police? Yeah, it's all unconfirmed, Alicia. Hi, Greeno's cellmate. Next. Oh my God. Hi, Deb. I don't know. Let's see. KT recovers. You picked a beautiful background picture of the girls. They are so happy in that photo. I believe they are somewhere as pleased as we are with the progress in the case. Yeah, I don't even want to get into that. It's so horrible that 2 8th grade girls went to trails and this happened to them. Chico's said, I'm not believing it's his first crime. I'd love to know what happens when they put his DNA in CODIS. Good point, Chico's. Hi, Lynn. Thanks for joining. I feel they found DNA on his cigarette once he was a suspect because he wasn't in a database, no other crimes. Yeah, I don't know what they took from his house that had DNA on it. Sean says, no way Rick can get a fair trial. Who cares? If he's guilty. Zav Girl, who is a YouTuber, had some leaked text, and if they are real, then this was a gruesome murder, not a strangling. I don't know if you're talking about, I don't want to say his name, but David is the name of a family member, I guess related to Abby, and he, around the time of the murders, had texted back and forth with somebody, and he described the crime scene, but it's never been confirmed. Actually, he may have said at one point that they were correctly his. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. Sorry. Yeah, so let's talk about this. Robert Ives was the prosecutor at the time of the murders. He left at some point, but he later gave an interview after he retired or changed jobs. And he mentioned that there were signatures at the crime scene. So Anna says, if the killer left 3 signatures, a scene that sickened cops, and took pictures, I'd guess this wasn't his first murder. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what those signatures were that Robert Ives was talking about. Dave asked, was the CVS where Rick worked less than 0.25 miles from the police station? I saw a map, and I think it's near Carroll County Sheriff. I'm not sure, though. I may have seen a weird-looking map. Perry says Anthony Shots has to be connected. Coincidence would be astonishing. Yeah, it might be an astonishing coincidence in the end. I don't know. We'll see. But hopefully Kagan will obviously have to pay for his CSAM, and possibly even Tony if he truly was sharing with him. Joan asks, do you think a high-profile attorney like Jose Baez will defend him? Who did Jose represent? Casey Anthony? It can still be tough to prove, except if they found trophies. So need to be certain the warrant will hold. I guess we'll find out soon who's representing him, whether it's a public defender or somebody else local or or not international, but a nationally known person. It's like, who would take him on as a client? Clinical Depression says, considering Rick went to all the press conferences, do you think he's seen your original video? I'm not sure that there's confirmation that he went to those press conferences. I actually looked at the 2019 press conference, the video on YouTube, where after the press conference, the person holding like a cell phone shows the people in the audience, and I did not see anybody at the 2019 press conference who looked like Rick Allen. Whether he saw my video, I don't know. It's like, if you got away with this, are you really looking on the internet a ton? Because the police, I don't know, if they're not looking at Rick anymore, does he even want to risk looking at the Delphi case online? I don't know. And have it come back to like be held against him. Like they said to Kagan, we see you looking in Vegas at these Delphi stories. If you're not involved, why are you looking at them? Yeah, sorry, I'm looking through comments. Bee's Knee says you have to click on the show more details applet. Otherwise, it appears as what he ultimately pleaded to, but he was charged with public intoxication and battery. I'm not sure. I must have missed your first comment or whatever. Sorry. Aska Uwoda. Sorry, I probably butchered that. Kagan was annoyed with Libby. That's true. Kagan said, what did he say? If she was bothering him or if she was annoying or something? Which in my video I said, did he get a picture of her that was inappropriate, but she was still thinking she's chatting with a 19-year-old Anthony Schatz. And so she still wanted to talk, but Kagan had gotten what he wanted, which from all these girls, he just wanted their naked pictures. So did he say that she was annoying because he got what he wanted and she still wanted to chat? I don't know. But like I said, if Kagan was involved in the murders, why was he still using Anthony Schatz? You would think that he would. I mean, there's points for and against Kagan being involved, but watch my long video if you want to see what I thought. Wishful thinking says, anyone know if Rick's stepdaughter/daughter is known to Kelsey or any of the German kids? Like I said before, she seemed to be married in late 2017. I believe Kelsey was a senior in high school when this happened. So I don't know. It seems like a small town, so it's possible. And they live close to each other. Hi, Joe. Thank you for saying that. I don't know that that's true, though. So let me say this. Yes, Gray Hughes is crotchety, but but he does these 4-hour chats like every night. So if I'm crotchety, and this is only my 7th one that I do every few months, like I can sympathize with him sometimes getting angry. But thanks for joining. I guess some people were talking about the sketches. Yeah, I mean, people did make some comparisons where there were some similarities, but like people have said, sketches and eyewitness testimony aren't the greatest thing. Kel asked, why did Rick have a P.O. box in Mexico, Indiana? Yeah, just for people who hear some of these town names. In this area near Delphi, there's Peru, which is obviously a country. There's Mexico and Young America. So I believe Mexico, I did not look on a map, but I think these are all in the same area. So I don't know why he had a P.O. box in Mexico, Indiana. And people said he had one in Peru also, but people said he lived there at some point. So let's see. Bridget asked, did he actually take a selfie with the sketch in the background? Somebody took a picture of him hanging out at this bar, but like, I think I said this in my video, my 7-minute video last Friday. In Delphi, when this happened, and since then, they've had all of these wanted posters up in practically every business. That's what I've heard. So they were in a local bar, and that's why it still had the young sketch on the wall. And obviously, he looked nothing like the young sketch. So it's like, I guess he had no issue being photographed near it. Hi, Kimberly. Thanks for joining. Literally almost 2 hours ago. She's passed out after having too much candy by now. Let's see. Hi, Kathy. You'll regret it at some point soon. But thank you. Did anyone else think the presser ought to not have been held in a church, even if they have superior AV equipment? I thought the high school ought to have been adequate, but who am I? You're wishful thinking. I don't know. And if you remember, like that first press conference, they said, I don't want to say his name, but the pastor, and people were like, the pastor's the one who killed them. So yeah, I don't know, wishful thinking. Do you think there's a connection to Evansdale? I don't know enough. Like I said, somebody said that Rick got transferred to a Walmart in Illinois at some point. So he worked at Walmart from, the person said ish. So like 2009 to 2012. And then they said he got transferred to Illinois and the person never saw him again. So I don't know where in Illinois, how far it was from Evansdale, but obviously there are, oh God, there's a bug crawling my desk. Sorry. There are similarities between Evansdale and Delphi. It's two young girls who were, people said they were near bodies of water. They were out, like these girls were on a hike, or not a hike, but they were walking the trails. The other two girls in Evansdale were riding their bikes. There were two cousins who were even younger than Abby and Libby. And also, they got killed. I've mentioned this before, and I always forget it. So Abby and Libby were killed on 2/13/17. I believe Evansdale was 7/31/12. So people have said that it's like the backwards dates. Also, 2/13 was when the bridge guy encountered the girls on the bridge. And no, I'm not into numerology or whatever, but that's just something that people have mentioned, the similarities. Hi, Ray. Thanks for joining and for saying that. I'm glad somebody got something out of it. Thank you. I was going to say malaria, but sorry. El Malara. I hope you don't have malaria. That was so rude. I'm sorry. Don't be offended. I'm an idiot. Hopefully she's gone by now. That was like 2 hours. I'm sure she changed the channel. I can't relax. I hate doing this stuff and being the center of attention. But let's keep it moving. Oh my God, where am I? Oh my God. Sorry, I'm just going through these. Christina said, I have a joke that Bull is her middle name, and hopefully her last name isn't something else. Sorry, I'm not making fun of like people watching, but yes, I am. I'm just trying to be funny. Sorry. I don't always succeed. I said on here, wait, sorry. I said here on other platforms and defended the way. Oh, is this about me? Is this dissing me? Hold on. I said here on other platforms and defended the way. But now that I think about it, like my husband's a narcissist, but I still know everything. I still know every piece of clothing. Okay, you're not dissing me. I forgive you. So I guess you're talking about like, how could this Rick's wife not have recognized his clothing? Seriously though, it's like, how many times did she watch the video though and look at that sketch? And like I said, the height did not match him and the age range did not match him. So maybe she had some suspicions, but if somebody said your husband, or not somebody said, but if you saw a similar really short snippet of your husband, would you think he was responsible for killing 2 8th grade girls? I would hope you would think, no, it can't be my husband. So maybe that's what she thought. It's getting hot in here. Anyway, no, I'm not taking my clothes off, Nelly. The Violet Bunny, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Why did he leave the phone if he knew he was recorded? Yes, some people have asked this. He did not know he was being recorded, though, because Libby seemed to record Bridge Guy sneakily. So seriously, can you imagine what he thought when he saw that video and picture show up and his voice? I'm curious why he did not move after this came out or kill himself. I don't know. We'll see. We the People said for the Three Stooges, which I guess you're talking about Tony, Kagan, and Rick, to work together and communicate from 2 different houses in 2 different towns, Delphi in Peru, like 25 minutes away. There should be plenty of cell tower data connecting them. Kagan's dad would be arrested along with Rick if he was involved. Well, we'll see what's about to happen. Sorry, reading comments again. Sorry, let me scroll through a bunch of them. Pamela says, squinting your eyes is traumatizing me. Do you tit will call PTSD? Well, I got a horrible eye infection helping my uncle 3 weeks ago, so give me a break, sweetie pie. And I'm old and I have bad vision, so I hope I'm triggering you. Anyway, Meg says, does anyone have any idea how they got the bodies moved back to Logan's property when the family said lots of people were out searching all night? I can't figure it out at all. Well, they were last seen on the bridge, so it seems unlikely that they would have crossed over the creek. I mean, at this point, nobody was really thinking somebody murdered 2 8th grade girls. I'm talking about on the night of February 13th when they were still missing. So, and it was dark out, even though there were a lot of people out there with flashlights. I mean, it seems possible that they were just missed. They could have had leaves put over their bodies or whatever. So who knows what happened or why they were not found. Have you seen the text on the Inquisitor, which is a YouTube channel, from someone saying in 2020, Richard should be questioned. He walks the bridge regularly. I don't know if you're referencing that 4chan screenshots that we were talking about before. Honestly, there's so many comments that I don't know that I'm even going to watch this back, to be honest. Robert says, my point is, I don't think Rick escaped towards Freedom Bridge or the CPS building. The car parked there always seemed like a red herring to me. Yeah, but why would that person never come forward to say, okay, that was me? And why did people, possibly arguing couple guy and flannel shirt guy, see somebody walking toward Freedom Bridge after the murders? I don't know. I'm just saying these are just various things that have been talked about. Sorry, I'm just going through these. Shannon says, I think they used dogs, would have found discarded clothes, then solid DNA. I don't know. I mean, people have always talked about Tobe Lesenby, I guess, called off. There was, I guess they put out a call when the girls were missing for whatever, the canine dogs to come in to sniff or whatever. And I think when they found the girls, he said, we don't need the dogs to come in. And people have always kind of criticized him for not having the dogs come in. Turquoise Kitten says, do you think this was planned or opportunity? I've said before, the stuff in his jacket is there's so many things in there that it's like he was planning to do something. But it's like, how crazy are you to go to a bridge and say, I'm going to look for any girls to just randomly kill and then go back to my house a mile and a half away and hope that I get away with it? Obviously, he didn't know that he was going to be on video. I don't know. He got away with it for 5.5 years. I don't know. USA Libertarian. At Ricky's arraignment, when the judge said, "Please rise," Ricky said, "I'm already standing, Judge." That was a pretty good one. But we're not allowed to, we shouldn't make fun of people who are 5'4" or 5'6". It's fine, everybody. Just don't worry about it. Or people who have problems with their eyes and squinting and who hate doing live chats but still do it because people want them to. Libby. Glenn said they initially said BG was 5'6" to 5'10". I remember seeing the photo video for the first time and he appeared big and bulky and older. That may be why people did not recognize him. I should know this better, what the first height range was. If it was 5'6", then obviously he would somewhat match up. I'm approaching 3 hours and we still have 1,300 people. I'll go for another half hour or so, I guess. I do want to stop right now, to be honest. Stella asked, do you think Rick had something on Kegan to make Kegan not turn him in? Well, it seems like the police had a bunch of stuff on Kegan's CSAM. So are you saying that maybe Kegan did not turn in Rick because Kegan was somehow in Delphi or involved and he just wanted to totally ignore the entire thing? That could be possible. Hippie. Rick is wearing a translucent mask with an oxygen tube in his mouth connected to the oxygen tank. Hippie, please tell me you're joking. I like you, Hippie. Don't be mad if you're not joking. I disagree with that, just for the record. I'm hoping, hi, Steph. I'm hoping he pleads guilty to save his family from all of this. Well, the rumor is he's not cooperating at this point, but obviously it's still early. Terrence asked, could the DNA they have be cat DNA? Yes, we were talking about this earlier. There has been mention about possible, I forget how they described it, but like non-human hair. People have always wondered if it's a pet hair that somehow came off the killer's clothing at some point. Stella asked, how did Kegan get the iPhone 5C that I assume was being used by RA after the first interview? I don't know that's true, Stella. It seems like all of the pings were from Kegan's house in Delphi, or sorry, Kegan's house in Peru, not Rick's house or anywhere else, really, other than their their Vegas trip. Aerostar says, how did they screw up age? Anybody could tell he was older. Yeah, I mean, to me, even though I can't say that it totally matches up to Rick's voice, it always sounded like an older guy to me. And then they put out the 2019 like 20-year-old guy that confused everybody. Seriously, I guess we'll find out at some point, hopefully, what that 2019 press conference was all about, because it does not seem to be related to Rick. Ross from Nebraska said, per WGN, which is a TV station, sources told WXIN station he came forward in the early days of the investigation as a witness. Are you talking about arguing couple guy or Rick? I've never heard of somebody who matches Rick as being another witness. Sorry, I'm reading through comments. And sorry for everyone whose comments I've missed, but like I said, you're talking way too much. Mrs. Thang, the media outlets and others will petition for the probable cause affidavit. I'm sure they already have. We'll know much more then. We're going to have to be patient and stop with the rumors. Yeah, but like I said, there's nothing else to discuss. Katie says, hi, Katie, thank you very much. Imagine if the DNA at the scene was Rick's cat. Yeah, that'd be crazy. Because Doug Carter said it's fascinating how it happened or it was resolved. Wonder if that's why investigators don't know what to say about DNA at the scene. Hopefully we'll find out soon. Thank you, Diana. My mom was voted class clown and class wit, so I'll tell her you said you enjoyed it, my humor. Do you think maybe Kegan would catfish and then sell pictures and or addresses for pedos? So you're saying maybe Kegan sold that to Rick? I mean, Kegan, as we know, sat at home and he didn't have a job. So people have always wondered if he was putting these pictures that he's getting from these girls onto the dark web. He obviously had this Dropbox. So was he making money by either sharing profiles? I don't know. I guess we'll have to stay tuned for Kegan's case and also Rick's. Millie says this was an impulse murder from a man with sociopathic tendencies. He acted alone. Definitely police have DNA, I think. Yeah, we'll see. Ross said, I just walked that bridge. It's tough. And I don't see how anyone could tell someone's walk based off that. Yeah, like people have shown, if you've seen the bridge, there's like a lot of, it's really dangerous. I'm surprised that it's still open, to be honest. So it's not a natural walk. I think police have said that before. I don't know if you're referencing my Missy Beavers video or not. Hi, Cindy. Thanks for joining. An hour and 45 minutes ago. Okay, let me go through a bunch of things here. Hi, Tom. Thank you always for joining and for donating. I appreciate it. You love my content. Thank you. Tom, I know you're so generous to me and also other YouTube channels. Let me play this right now. This is a 1 minute and 45-second video on how to donate. Seriously, people, the minimum is $10. It's to 2 good causes. Hold on. This is just real quick for people who missed this. I did say that I wanted to start off by mentioning the Delphi donation funds where people can donate, because I don't think a lot of people know about that. I had heard about the Memorial Park and I had been meaning to donate for a long time, and I finally just did last week. For people who are nosy, I gave $200 to the Memorial Park, and there's a scholarship fund for each girl. So I gave $100 to Abby and $100 to Libby's scholarship fund, and it's $10 minimum for people who are wondering. So if people want to donate, they can go to abbyandlibbymemorialpark.org. And at the top, it has a link to donate via PayPal. You do not need to have a PayPal account. You can just enter your credit card information. Also on abbyandlibbymemorialpark.org, at the top, it says more. You can click how you can help. They have some t-shirts for sale. Lastly, the Community Foundation of Carroll County is at cfcarroll.org. And at the top left, there's a menu where you hover your mouse over giving, and you can scroll down and click give now.
You enter the donation form information. About halfway down, it says gift information, and there's a field for county, and you have to scroll to CF Carroll list fund name below, and you have to type one of the following three funds below. One is Abigail Williams Scholarship Fund, or you can do Liberty German Scholarship Fund, or the third one is the L&A Park Foundation Fund. You just have to make sure you look because it says monthly, annually, or one-time donation. So make sure you read each option. You click submit and it'll show a page saying, thank you for your donation. And I appreciate anybody who also donates. Thank you.
You know, I only did that to wipe sweat off my face. No, I'm kidding. Seriously, people, it would be really nice if you could donate like $10. Like I said, I donated $400 total. And it would be nice if people could maybe match that with all of your even smaller donations. So thank you. And just to say, like, people, I know people always like criticize YouTube, whatever, YouTube people, that they're like making money off of these two girls behind us. And my first video on Delphi has like 130,000 views. And I looked like a week ago and I made $256 on it. People asked me to share my files. I had to spend like over $200 on a website that I created just to share my files, and I renewed it. And like I said, I just gave $400. And I'm not complaining or anything. I'm just saying, if you think like some people on YouTube are making a ton of money, like I've lost money, like looking into this case. Not that I'm complaining, but I just want to clarify, like people aren't getting rich off of doing this kind of content. So Tom, as always, thank you very much. Tom, I owe you something. I know you asked me for my email a long time ago, and I put it in a response, but I think YouTube blocks it. Hopefully you got your answers about that case. I forget what it was called though. Blake or somebody? I don't know, but it seemed like it was resolved. But I just want you to know I'm not like, I was never ignoring you about that case. And thank you again for donating. Also, Scott, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Anthony said, I got a feeling his wife turned him in as a third party using a different alias. Keep in contact with the police. Why? Because he could probably kill her and the daughter. Yeah, there's some kind of talk that there's some domestic violence happening in that marriage. Stim said that press conference was a waste of time. We gained absolutely nothing from it. I don't know that I'd say that, because if they did not do that, people will be complaining about that. And also, like I said before, I think we all just want this solved and for it to end up in a guilty verdict if Rick truly is the killer, which it looks like he is. So, I mean, we can wait a few months or more to see some of this evidence. And it's like we waited 5 years, so it's like we can wait a little bit longer. Hi, Duty Ron. I talked about you before. Thank you for joining, and thank you very much for donating. I appreciate. I watched your one video where you shared my stuff, and like I said, thanks for getting my jokes. But yes, thank you very much. You're a lot better at this live stream stuff than I am. I hate doing this stuff. I'm like the worst at this. It's like, hey, everybody, thanks for coming to my live chat that I hate doing. But like I said before, I'm so happy that this day has finally come to be able to talk about an arrest. Like I said before, Duty Ron has like 140,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if you like true crime, check him out. Let's see. Cindy asked, can you do a stream with the press conference? It's available. I don't want to waste people's time, to be honest. You can just look it up later on your own time. No offense, Cindy. You're still my best friend. Joe asked, why were they going to be abducted? Well, I mean, yeah, so everybody's wondering, what would Rick's motive have been to be there that day? It's like, he has a wife and daughter at home. It's not like he's going to kidnap them and bring them home. So it's like, I have no clue what his motive could have been. And obviously, I'm looking forward to finding out. But who knows if the police will even know why he was there. I mean, they can say, okay, we have this evidence, but will it ever be revealed why he was there that day? Anthony said it's very possible that it was a cold day. So people, let me just read this whole thing first. Sorry. It's very possible that was a cold day and he was dressed very heavy. It's very possible they picked up possibly snot from his nose and he spit on the girls. I don't know about that. I mean, somebody said like he vomited. There was vomit at the scene. I don't know. But just to clarify on temperature, in my first video, I looked at it, and if you watch my first video, when I was showing the white truck that was parked near Indiana Packers, like during the murders, that webcam, I believe it said the high temperature that day was 43. But people, even like Robert Ives, when he did an interview, he said it was unseasonably hot that day for February 13th. He said, I think it was in the 50s or 60s, but I never saw that it was that hot. But people who are local say, oh, yeah, well, our winters are very cold. So even 42 is a hot day for us. So I don't know about your booger evidence, but I guess we'll have to wait for the trial. Yeah, Duty Ron, I think he said he was going live at 9 p.m. Eastern, so he probably didn't see me thanking him. That was like almost 2 hours ago. Yeah, so I'm going to stop probably in 20 minutes. Yeah, people are leaving. People are sick of me. So 20 more minutes. Stella, thank you very much for joining. Thank you for all your questions. Thank you, everybody, again. Like, I feel horrible missing so many of your comments. Don't be mad at me. I'm not ignoring you. But it's just impossible to read and highlight every single one. Tom and he said an hour and a half ago exactly what I just said. You must be psychic. Yeah, so he's not in Carroll County Jail. He was transferred somewhere else. They said for his safety, but do they not? I guess Carroll County Jail is pretty small. Thank you, wishful thinking. That's the reason. I mean, like I said, I made my videos, my deep dive videos on Missy Beavers and my 2 Delphi videos to save people time, but also just hoping like the one viewer, it would make something click. So I failed at that apparently, but maybe in Missy Beaver, somebody will eventually see something that matches up. Okay, so I just made a weird looking face, so I'm gonna at least share why I did that. I was told by a neighbor that Ricky was trafficking unpasteurized goat's milk out back his secret emu farm off the shores of Lake Minnetonka. Are you serious? The simulation asked, do we know if those are actually his daughters or stepdaughters? Yeah. Like I said, I think I saw something that said Rick may have been divorced twice. So I don't know. Tyler said his name is Richard. Yeah, but I've seen people say, like in real life, people refer to him as Rick or Ricky, but it seems more often Rick. Barbara said a British tabloid, I think it was Daily Mail, but I didn't read it, published a photo of Rick's daughter on Monon High Bridge, which is the bridge that the girls crossed and then were killed off the side of. She does resemble Libby. I don't know why they're posting like his daughter's or stepdaughter's face on Daily Mail. She had nothing to do with this. Yeah, and also on the wife's Facebook, there's a photo of the daughter like lying on her stomach on the bed. I forget what the context was for it, but she's wearing a tie-dye shirt, which if you've seen several pictures of Libby, she had a tie-dye shirt and it kind of matched up, similar to Rick's daughter or whatever. And apparently, I think Libby may have been wearing her tie-dye shirt the day of the murders, and then when she got out of the car, Kelsey told her to bring a sweatshirt, and so the one she grabbed was a black and gold Delphi swimming sweatshirt. So, yeah, Libby may have been killed the day she was wearing her tie-dye shirt. And also people said there may have been like tie-dye shirts made for like as a memorial or whatever. So people wondered if his daughter was wearing one of the Libby memorial tie-dye t-shirts in that picture, which is after the murders. I don't know about that. Lynette said, didn't Tobe say he recognized the voice from somewhere, bridge guy voice? Perhaps he knew all along. Yes, you're correct. Tobe at one point said he recognized the voice, but he could not place it. Maybe he had gone to CVS, and I don't know. I mean, people say it could sound like a lot of people. Hi, Vicky. Did you even think that he would have lived 2 miles away? I think that is why the eyewitness moved away. Maybe she recognized him. I mean, in my first video, I wondered, like, obviously some people said, was this a truck driver? Was this a homeless person? I wondered at some point, was this somebody who, when the video came out, they were like, I'm screwed, and they killed themselves in the woods. Obviously, I was totally wrong about that and a bunch of other things. I'm really surprised, first of all, that this was solved, and second of all, that he lived so close. Third of all, that he worked at the local CVS with so many people coming in. There's a lot of things that I'm surprised about right now. I think my moderators like left. Oh no, there's somebody here. Sorry. Let me go to the bottom. I'm scrolling to the very bottom. Here we go. Okay, yeah. Ask Radar. Tobe said that voice. Where have I heard that voice? Let's see. Parker says the CVS was right near the police station, so that makes sense. That's a good point. Hi, Bud. Thanks for joining. Who is Tobe? Tobe Lesenby is the Carroll County, right? He's the Carroll County. What is he? There's a Carroll County sheriff, and what is he? I forget what his official title is, but they have term limits. So there's another election that's going on, I guess, November 8th. And I don't know, there's been speculation, people saying, oh, they announced this to influence the election that's coming up. And I don't buy that, to be honest. JM says, if someone told me to go down the hill, I'd immediately be like, what? Who are you? What's going on? It kind of sounds like maybe they were expecting someone. Well, there's been talk about, was Libby there to meet Anthony Schatz? Or obviously there's no Anthony Schatz who's going to be there. But people have also said, including me, if she thought she was meeting this 19-year-old guy who has a Ferrari, who she obviously thought was good looking, and like, would she really go there in sweatpants and a tie-dye shirt? And I don't know, there's a lot of speculation about a lot of things. So people obviously say, why did they agree to go down the hill? There's a lot of speculation that even on the 43-second video, there might be a sound of a gun clicking. And obviously, if you're two 8th grade girls and a guy who's creepy shows you a gun and says, go down the hill, I mean, you don't have any choice to do anything. Mike, my trip to Hawaii, which was the night before or the night after my last chat, it was an absolute disaster. I have an eye infection for the past 3 weeks, and it's a disaster. Hi, Kimmy Canuck. On one of his wife's Facebook pictures, there was a picture of their daughter, and someone commented that she looked like her father, Ricky. Ricky is the father. Okay, thank you for clarifying that. But does anybody know if there is a second child that he has? HB, thank you for the money, and thank you for the sneaky Mariah reference. That's always a way to get me on your good side. Let's see. Christine, do you think it's possible they knew something in 2019 but couldn't prove much until, I'm thinking Kagan maybe said something. I don't know if you're referring to they knew something about Rick Allen. Well, if they knew it was Rick and that was their main suspect and they just needed that one final piece, which they've talked about before, why would they put out a picture of a 20-year-old who looks nothing like Rick Allen? Even if some people say, oh, it looks like his high school picture, it's like, why are they putting out somebody's high school picture that matches a sketch or whatever? I don't know. Spy Girl says Rick was divorced twice. His first wife turned him in after calling Sleuth. Are you talking about Sleuth Intuition, the YouTube channel? Let's see. Jackie B says, sometimes I feel like the internet was a mistake. I agree with you. Let's see, what do we got here? Drama. Hold on. Thank you, Jackie. I appreciate it. I'm not saying that. Hi, Jennifer. Thank you. Duty Ron said you are great, so I'm going to listen. Well, honestly, let me just say this. So the reason why I covered Delphi, I mean, I talked about how I got into it at the beginning of my recent chat with Murder Sheet. So at the 4-year anniversary, I had seen headlines about Delphi, and I just never clicked on any of the stories. And I just became obsessed with it over the next 2.5 months, and I looked at so many different things, and I didn't feel right just like giving up and deleting my files. So I made a video since I had a YouTube channel. I didn't feel like there were any videos like my first Delphi 2-hour, which ended up being 2 hours and 11 minutes. And then people asked me to look into another case. I spent 8 months and 600 hours plus looking into Missy Beaver's murder, which is unsolved. I did a nearly 5-hour video on that. And people said, starting in like December 2021, when the Kagan Klein stuff came out, saying, can you do an update video on the Kleins? So I spent like a few hundred hours after I finished Missy Beavers last April looking into the Kleins, and I made a nearly 4.5-hour video on them. Having said that, it's like, maybe you should not waste your time looking at my 2 Delphi videos, because it's like, what did I get right? But if you're new to Delphi, maybe my first video, you might learn some stuff from that. But I would say don't watch my recent September one that's 4.5 hours long. Let's see. People are saying nice things about me, but like I said, I don't like to really highlight nice things, but I don't want to ignore you. But I want to talk about the case itself. The Driftwood Lover says Detective Ken Maines thinks Rick was out early trolling for victim, and that's why he overdressed for the temperature. Okay, that's a decent point. Well, if he was looking for one victim, why would he follow 2 girls across the bridge? Like he'll get like double the excitement or something? I don't know. How many are there? We'll see. I said I'd end in 6 minutes, but I don't know. Maybe I'll go to midnight Eastern. I'm scrolling back up. I'm going in all different directions here. Police have said they are withholding something to use at trial. I wonder if the girls partially identified him. Didn't we see you at the audio breaks off? Maybe. That's just a hypothesis. I don't know. It says that he says down the hill at the end of the 43-second video. So he was pretty far away. He was like 60 feet away from Libby and Abby in that video. So I'd imagine there wasn't that much conversation captured on that 43-second video. Sorry, just still looking for something to highlight that I've not talked about in the previous 3.5 hours. Hi, JM. The interview the grandparents gave today after the press conference actually gave a lot of info. I only saw one. To be honest, I don't know that one I saw had a lot of information. So yeah, they have done quite a few interviews today. So I'm assuming you're referencing the one that I have not seen yet, or multiple ones that I've not seen yet. The one I saw was only the one where Becky, who's Libby's mom, or sorry, grandmom, she said, yes, somebody in Libby's family went to CVS to get pictures made of the girls for the memorial, and Rick, the killer, waited on the family member and said, it's no charge for these pictures for the funerals of the girls that I killed. I mean, he didn't say that part of it. If only, I mean, it would have been solved so long ago. You know what I just thought? I probably shouldn't say this, but whatever. If he went to like Alcoholics Anonymous or a mental institution soon after the murders, I was just thinking, are the people who were in those meetings going to start talking and saying how he was acting at that time? I know that like, Alcoholics Anonymous is supposed to be anonymous, but in this case, we want to know how he was acting. Hi, Adam. Thank you for joining. Hi, Gregory. Do you think when Rick's wife took that picture of Rick in the bar, that Rick knew the sketch of him was in the background? Yes, he had to have known. I mean, like I said before, this was near Delphi or in Delphi, this bar. And since the murders, apparently all these local businesses have tried to support the case by having like flyers related to the case, sketches, the picture of possibly Rick being the bridge guy. Obviously, that's not been confirmed. It's obviously looking like it is, but they asked Doug Carter today, I think, if it was him, if it definitely was Rick on the bridge. And I think he said, I can't talk about it now, but yeah. So he had to have known. And he was working at CVS where it has his picture on the bridge and the sketches. Let's see. Sorry, this is so awkward for me, like looking for comments and not talking. Janice asked, what is a Dropbox? A Dropbox is, or Dropbox is a website. I don't know if it's dropbox.com, but the drop part of it is like sharing files. So if you have a large file that you want to send to somebody and maybe it won't go through email, there are certain websites where you can upload, like, you might not know, like a few gigabyte files. So apparently Dropbox in this, or not this case, but Kagan Klein, who's been a suspect in this case, or CSAM, he had an account on Dropbox.com where apparently he would upload these inappropriate pictures of young girls and possibly share it with other guys. So that's what people refer to when they're talking about Dropbox. And people, or in Kagan's August 2020 police interview, the interviewer, the police investigator said, your Dropbox has led to one of the biggest CSAM investigations in Indiana history. So I guess we'll find out if Rick was also into CSAM and if there's any connection to the Kleins. That's a reminder to stop doing a live chat. Rosie for Rivets says Dropbox is the common denominator between, I guess you're referring to Kagan and Rick. I don't know. I mean, it's like if police knew about Kagan's Dropbox in August 2020 and they've been searching everybody else who, I guess their IP address connected to that Dropbox, why would they not have looked into Rick in August 2020? People say I look like random people who I've never heard of. But thank you for, like, I'm gonna have to look up who this person is, and if it's not somebody cool, you're blocked, Lorca. I'm kidding. Hi, Jessica. Thank you. Who knows when I'll do another one? Like I said, if the evidence comes out, I probably will do a live chat either that night or the following night. Reluctantly. Who else like complains about doing live chats when they're doing a live chat for 1,300 people? That's what makes me me, I guess. Let's see. Hi, Charlie. I've always thought Richard cleaned up on Logan's property. So you must be saying if Rick was the killer and he was standing after the murders next to the girls or whatever, he moved them, possibly, I'm saying this, you didn't say this. If he put like leaves over them to kind of cover them up so people would not find them, you're saying you thought he cleaned up and maybe that's what it took longer time for him to either go back to a car at CPS. There's been speculation that a cleaning agent was used, like bleach or something, to get DNA, the killer's DNA, off the girls' bodies. But like I said, nothing has really been, no true evidence has been released about the crime scene or their autopsies. Rose says the whole town didn't recognize the sketches. Well, I mean, if you look at each sketch individually and then you look at Rick and people who interacted with him all the time, would you have turned him in, at least with that first sketch? I don't know. The video or the picture that I uploaded where I guess on Thanksgiving, late November 2016, which is what? I have to do math now. Almost 3 months before the murders, he's clean shaven, but it's pretty much every picture he does have a goatee. So I don't know. People seem to think that the bridge guy video does have facial hair. But a witness said that the guy they passed on the trail had a mask. I think it was up to his nose or maybe even over his nose. But maybe he pulled it down as he was walking across the bridge, not to make them run away, or at the end of the bridge. I'm talking about Abby and Libby. George Scott P. Law enforcement would have found a link between Richard and Kagan before now if both were involved, in my opinion. Think it's going to be a crazy coincidence. Kagan was not very smart about covering up his digital trail. That's true. He had stuff on like 6 different devices or 7. Generally, Jenny says, I love some of these screen names. Have you all heard of cosmic coincidences? You forgot the question mark. Some things or sometimes things are just that, coincidences. Don't be mad. I'm just making jokes, Jenny. It'll be interesting to see if the Kleins are totally unrelated to this. Mark asked, why did the search warrant take so long to arrive at Alan's house? You must be talking about something I don't know. I know that, I guess in that HLN video, Barbara McDonald said something about a piece of paper was given to Rick. Are you saying that he was given a copy of the search warrant at some point? I don't know. Give me a break, sweetie pie. Yeah, that's going to be my new line when somebody says something rude. Madhra, I hope these arrests lead to more creeps getting arrested. Word up. Let me pick some people who have interesting screen names instead of like them having interesting content to talk about. I plead the fifth. I know your screen name. Thank you for joining. He was probably tripping. I'm baffled by that also, but I don't know what you're baffled by. So this is something I've not talked about. Ms. Tia. I hope they release the whole video Libby recorded and we learn more now. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I would imagine they would play that video at the trial, or at least the audio. I mean, because I think she put the phone in her pocket after she took the video, or she pointed it at him. So it's more probably going to be an audio thing about their conversation instead of like any more evidence about what he looked like up close. But like that just popped into my mind that I've thought like if she had, I'm not criticizing her or anything, but if only her phone was like newer or a better resolution, or she held it up even closer to when he got to them, I mean, this could have been solved like the next day when police found that video. And I'm not criticizing her at all, but it's just like so crazy to think it took 5.5 years, millions of dollars, hundreds of like police officers working on this. But if that video had just been kept longer and showed his face, even if they still got killed, it's like it would have been solved so long ago. And like I said, I'm not criticizing her. It's just like a weird aspect to this. Oh yeah, so I can't like raise my eyebrows and not show you what it was about. Janice says only Rick's wife knows what he was like in the bedroom. He probably had fantasies. All right, we'll move on from that one. Okay, yeah, this is an interesting thing. Rick is saying, or sorry, Mark is saying Rick could turn on the Kleins or if anyone else was involved. As of now, or as of yesterday, people are saying Rick is not cooperating. So we'll see. I mean, as he starts to face the possible death penalty, what is he going to start talking about? I don't know. We'll see. Melon Husk. Tom, will you be writing a book on this case along with the thousands of others? Just kidding. No, to be totally honest with you. And I mean, first and foremost, it's about these two girls and getting justice for them, having their families have some kind of consolation that the guy was finally found. But for me personally, once it's finally resolved, I'm going to be, I don't want this to sound horrible, but I'm glad that I don't have to think about this case and wonder about what happened anymore. Speaking of that, I wrote a book. Like you can tell I have a crazy sense of humor and I've been writing jokes since like high school. So I hate being the center of attention, like in front of 1,200 people, never mind 12. So I don't like share my jokes, but I've been writing jokes for a very long time and I have a bunch of them. So I decided to write a book to like share my humor, and it's called Diary of a Quiet Guy. And I've been wanting to do it for so many years. And finally, in 2017, I like wrote down what I did every day. And I like I said, I'm really reserved, and I like kind of push myself to do like crazy stuff to have something interesting to write about. So I finished my first draft in late February 2021, like 2 weeks after I started looking into this case, and it's 633 pages, and I have not touched it since. I've been looking into this case and Missy Beavers, and then this case again. It's like I've been totally ignoring my private life due to these 3 cases and stuff. So I'm looking forward to trying to do something with my book, even though it's like I can't believe it's been 5 years since I finished that diary. So anyway, I'm sure it'll never come out for anybody wondering. Or I should be positive, sorry. Maybe. Let's see. Let me go back down to the bottom to see what you people are arguing about. You want the book? We'll see what happens. 20 minutes. I'm calling it now. At midnight Eastern, I turn back into a monster. Bud said Rick is going to find out about his cellmate's fantasies. Well, will he ever be put in a jail cell with anybody else? I don't know what he's being, or I don't know what kind of security or whatever, what the situation is with that. I don't know if it's Newcastle is the area. I don't know. Christian says, I thought for sure it was Ron Logan, but was wrong, obviously. It was mainly because of the warrant that was released earlier this year. Yeah, I agree. Honestly, I don't want to spend a lot of time on Ron because I don't think he was the murderer. But that Ron Logan warrant did seem to have a lot of suspicious stuff that we never knew, saying that he was near the bridge. He was making, well, he said he made a phone call at like 2:09, which I said, how could he make a phone call at 2:09 and then encounter the girls at 2:13? He was 77 years old. How could he get to the end of the bridge if he was bridge guy? I don't know. It didn't add up to me. Please don't subscribe. I would not be here right now if people did not subscribe when I told them not to subscribe after my first video. Not that I'm complaining, although honestly, it sounds like I am. Oh, I know you. Sorry. Big fish, small pond. I know you've left various comments on my videos, but I don't know what you're talking about here. Sorry. But thank you for joining. I think you were late. Growing up with Anastasia. Hi. Yeah, we're still live. I'm doing 4 hours. Can you believe it? All right. Yeah, this is wrapping up. This is getting ridiculous. What is this person thinking? BGB PW says, if he did this, I'm sure it was mostly motivated out of having sick control over those girls, but he probably is not the type to be suicidal if he's that egotistical, narcissistic. Some woman who hated me in the comments yesterday said I was narcissistic, but I don't think I am. I diss myself so many times. Is she tripping? Anyway, is she tripping? What is the other one? Something sweetie pie? I don't know. I forget. Oh my God, sweet pea. Sweet pea, sweetie pie. You're my favorite true crime detective. Am I really though? I'm not good. I mean, I'm good at organizing stuff and I guess trying to get people caught up to speed, but whatever. Keep going. You could be cast as a new Keith Morrison. Oh God. But handsome and funny. I'm telling Keith you said that. Is Keith? Oh, that's Chris Hansen is the whatever guy. Rick Allen is on a suicide watch, moved for his own safety. Law enforcement doesn't want him dead before trial. But if he, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say this, but if he kills himself, is that like saying, okay, he was the one who did it. And if you want, like I said, I think whoever killed 2 8th grade girls deserved the death penalty. So if Rick did it and we want him dead, I know people are disagreeing with this, like, save money at a trial. Hi, Bill. Thank you. I appreciate it. Wait, what? What's this? Miss Chris, I wonder if Rick has been buying kids online. Another reminder to stop doing this live chat. Sorry. I wonder if Rick has been buying kids online because there's been no other murders. Have there? I don't understand what you're talking about. Oh, God. Sorry. Yeah, again, I have to show like what my reaction is. I'm not speaking it out loud though. People who are watering their plants are going to have to run to see what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, let's talk about this. Mo Mouse, fanny pack. I don't know what you're referring to, but like I said, I mean, obviously Rick's wife did not watch my first video where I tried to like examine every part that this bridge guy was wearing. I examined his shoes, his jeans, his jacket, that brown thing around his waist, whether it was a fanny pack. Obviously, some people were speculating, was that brown thing a sweatshirt that was hanging out? What else? The hat. I said that the white thing may have been, at one point, I thought it was maybe a logo of something, but I think it was rope, like the white rope, which if you saw my first video, you know that I would say it was rope to maybe control somebody that he was there to do something negative to. So if his wife saw all that stuff, and I'm not like acting like she should have watched my video, but how can you not say, oh, that's everything that my husband owns? The grandparents said they were notified on Wednesday about what was coming, but the police didn't arrest him until Friday, or at least charge him until Friday. Thought that was interesting. Well, I saw, or actually, I think during the press conference, they said he was arrested on Wednesday, or taken into custody on Wednesday, the 26th. Obviously, the arrest was announced on Friday, the 28th. That's not the one I wanted to highlight, but I kind of just talked about it. Leah says, I wonder if Rick committed other crimes. Rarely this kind of crime is a one-off. Yeah, I mean, I wonder if he was possibly involved in other crimes and people will see him on the news and say, oh yeah, that's that guy who did this to me. But also I was wondering if he had gone to the trails, like checking out young girls previously. I mean, he lived at that house for, this happened in 2017. He bought his house in 2006. So he lived there near the bridge for 11 years. Have there been other teenage girls who have gone to the trails, which it seemed to be like a popular place, who are now going to say, oh yeah, that was that creepy guy who I had seen at the bridge checking out me and my friends? I don't know. Did Kagan turn the police onto Rick? Time will tell. Yes, I did my third burp of the night. Oh my God, so embarrassing. 12 minutes, yay. Sorry, I'm looking for some final comments. Oh, let's see. Rick's daughter is said to be around 28 at this time. Hey Girl Hey says he committed himself for 30 days after the murders. I mean, that'll be interesting to find out exactly when he went bye-bye, and exactly what kind of a facility it was and what his friends are saying, what happened. This is a good point, Janice. If he checked into a mental facility, nurses and a doctor could definitely be called to testify. That's a very good point. Yeah, just for people, in my Friday video, I was told that there was $20 million bond by somebody who also told me his birth date was September 9th, 1972. So I shared that his bond was $20 million. I apologize. There is no bond, which is obviously better than him having 20 million, but like, is he really going to do that when he walks to work? Cassidy said, can I come on live and pick your brain? Had to take care of my sick snake. So listen, but couldn't participate in the chat. Like I said earlier, I had some bad experiences with clowns trolling my first live chat, so I don't invite people on video. But I mean, I appreciate your offer, and I would prefer that other people are on video, but I'm finally ending after 4 hours and a few minutes. So I appreciate your donation and for joining the. Bud said, we know that Tony is not the killer, but I still hate that dude. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if there's any connection to Delphi for the clients, or if Tony is going to be arrested for the CSAM, because it seems like he was possibly sharing it with Kagan. Jules, hi Jules. She's been following the case since the day it aired and they were missing. It's so heartbreaking for me just seeing the guy that did this to them. Yeah, like I said, I've only been following it since the 4-year anniversary for like 18 months. So for people who have been following this for so long, I'm really happy that like everybody is finally having some kind of resolution to this. Rick had to go for 2 because he is so tiny and can only overpower young girls, and the odds are higher that there will be 2 young teen girls on trails rather than 1 alone. Yeah, I'd wondered why, if he was looking to kill girls, I mean, this sounds stupid because it sounds so impossible, but he had encountered those 4 girls, I guess, near Freedom Bridge. Obviously, he's not going to like pull out a gun near Freedom Bridge where everybody can say so. It would be interesting to find out where, if it's ever confirmed, where he had first encountered the girls. In my first video, I wondered, was he near that park bench? I'm sure most of you know all this stuff. The girls got dropped off. You have to walk a little way. Across the trail is a park bench. If you go to the right, I know this is backwards on camera. If you go to the right, that's Freedom Bridge. To the left, which is where the girls went, is the Monon High Bridge, where was he waiting at that intersection point where you can see everything. You can see the people arriving at that parking lot, the Mears parking lot. It's called Mears because the people across the street, that's their last name. He can see who's coming from Freedom Bridge. And if he was hanging out there for a while, he would have known that there's nobody else down at Monon High Bridge. So I don't know why I was talking about that, but 7 minutes. Something like that. Oh my God. I'm not highlighting that one. Gregory said, he was pretty brazen. He could not have known someone else was not ahead of Abby and Libby on the bridge, nor did he look back as he was coming across the bridge to see if someone was walking behind him. I think I just kind of explained my viewpoint on that, even though I just saw this other thing. Sorry. Love to Hunt says, the pictures of BG is pixelated with a lot of pictures from her phone. If you work long hours and use different apps, you can unpixelate and see some of the pics. I think he looks very much like BG. I've never really seen a whatever, I don't want to say edited, but any kind of picture where they tried to bring out the facial features better of the guy in the video. A lot of people have said since the beginning, oh, they sent it to NASA and what else? Disney? I don't know. And I'm not like discounting you by saying how I just replied. Sorry. We love live chats. Yeah, I talked about this before, Mother. There's been so many people who have been accused of killing these girls, and some of them were criminals who've done horrible things and don't deserve any sympathy, but some of them are like innocent guys. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if anybody apologizes to the people who deserve an apology, but I doubt it. In Rick's mugshot, he looked livid. Yeah, you think? Let's see. I hope the family got more info than we did. I mean, it seems like they were told, yes, this is the guy. You can say, finally, today is the day, and say that we finally have our guy. So other than that, I don't know that they're really trusting anybody with more stuff, more evidence. And I'm sure the family is like, the only thing they want is a conviction. So, like I said, we can wait longer for more information and evidence so they can too. Thank you for the inspiration. I really need to spend a lot of time on it. And did I say thank you for the donation? I'm like so tired right now. Caricature contest. I know you, or I know your screen name. I get triggered by too many exclamation points. I'm kidding. That's a joke between me and my dad. Watch Fig Solves YouTube video. He has guest Alex Voorhees, a computer hacker who hacked Anthony Schott's account and sees a pedo ring, including KK, AK, and RA. So, did that? I don't know. I don't know if it's come out since that. Rick has been involved in the pedo ring. We'll see. All right, I'm wrapping it up, people. Thank you, seriously, everybody who joined. I hope you got something out of this. Anybody who donated directly to me, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And if I missed it, I'm so sorry. But like I mean, if you've seen, like, there's way too many comments here. So, but seriously, thank you for joining. Please really consider donating to the 3 funds that I showed at the beginning of the video. I'll put links, I guess, in the description because I've put links in comments before and YouTube deletes it. So I'm just we have 3 minutes left. Samrudi Sharma, thank you. I hope I said your name right. I'm just like scrolling through so many comments, sorry. Where are we? Yeah, so this is it for me, people, or viewers. My mom says, don't call people these people or those people. When will I do another live or another video? Well, I'm sure this evidence is going to come out at some point. So whether I'll do a video or a live chat, I mean, I guess if 1,000 people are joining, some people get something out of these. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, so I'm wrapping this up, but I want to give people a chance to say, I'm on StreamYard, which has a delay. I'm going to go to the YouTube thing. Thank you. Anybody who says thank you, you're welcome. If anybody watched this entire 4-hour thing, thank you for joining. Thank you for watching my videos. The bloodshot eyes suit you. Yeah, I have a Lorca. I told you I have an eye infection, but thanks. Is Lorca the sweetie pie person? All right, I'm leaving. I'll give it 1 more minute, so it's like an exact 4 hours. Oh no, because if it's 4 hours, people are gonna be like, I'm not watching a 4-hour video, but I will watch a 3-hour and 59-minute one. On that point and that joke, bye. Thank you again for joining. Oops, gotta push that button too.